hello. What's up, guys?
Good, Steve. How are you?
I am doing great, man. It's good to be back.
Mr. P, how are you?
How you wearing? You got to take on your hat, my man. Lone Star play yesterday.
Yeah.
That's how you celebrating today.
Down the finish beating Lone Star, I done Jerry Dream, not celebrating wearing big cap.
There are Jimmy and Maple Lavo. You can't wear Lone Star here.
After the finish beating Lone Star.
You don't wear Moya 11 t-shirt. You got to Lone Star bracelet and Moya 11.
Is that Moya stuff? I just love to wear my Liberian stuff. You know, this is stuff. Besides that, it's not about that Moya thing. Because I knew that stuff maybe we have ended in chair. We did all what we could. So, but everything they did, whoever shifted blame and all of that, we know what's up.
Yeah. And Lone Star been in that position a couple of, you know, but the last and only time I cried on the soccer field was the 2001 that Ghana game when we lost to Ghana 2-1 at the SKD, man. I was stunned. I could not leave the field. I stayed there for like maybe 30 minutes after the game. I shared enough tears. And from that moment, my approach to football changed. You know, I said to myself, I would never get involved in soccer to the extent that I will be. For this, man, I could not phantom the fact that Lone Star didn't qualify for the World Cup, and you know, that experience was terrible. So since that time up to now, every time Lone Star plays, I leave a huge room for disappointment. I know that day where trophy, I know we gotta leave a huge room for day where. So I normally don't pay to, but it's good that we're back. Unfortunately, the team did not qualify for this year's next year's African Cup of Nations, which will be right next door in Ivory Coast. That would have been a very perfect opportunity for a lot of Liberians to just drive up to Abidjan to watch the African Cup, you know. But unfortunately, we're not there. Maybe this will be the second time running that we're the only West African nation, the only Mana River country that didn't play the last Nation Cup. All the Mana River Union country went. Sierra Leone, Guinea, Ivory Coast, they all participated. Liberia failed to qualify this year again. Liberia has failed to qualify. Sad day for our football. Speaks to I was reading the budget. Government allotted in the 2022 budget for grassroots sports development $5,000 US for grassroots sports development. Can you imagine? 5,000 for the entire country, grassroots sports development. So that just one minister's salary there for 1 month. Now what they giving to develop grassroots football in Liberia. Then the national team got, I think, 80,000, 80 or 100,000 thereabout. Some of the footballers in Europe, they have a salary they pay. One player salary they pay 100,000. You know, this is the and the sad part is this is the least funded Lone Star in the history of Liberia. See, the issue I like to talk about since 1847. This is the least funded Lone Star since 1847. No Lone Star, no other national team under any administration has been least funded than Lone Star under George Weah. And the funny thing is, George Weah, who comes from a soccer background, his fame in Liberia, his successes in Liberia, globally, all tied to soccer. Unfortunately, you don't see that enthusiasm, you know, just going on the soccer field to watch Lone Star play, promising them 50,000 if they win game. It's not enough when you cannot support the national team. If you're giving grassroots soccer development only 5,000 US, some other sports zero. Some other sports got zero in the budget, zero. So it just speaks to the priority of the government. Whereas those young ladies were given gold-plated iPhone for Miss Earth. It just tell you what it tells you the priority of the president, that they got more interest in beauty pageant and these fun fair than soccer, that he, in fact, even brought him to stardom. But again, I hope Liberian can learn from these things. One of the few things we'll grade we are on will be the success of sports under his administration. And unfortunately, we are is the least performing president in terms of contribution to sports. Even Taylor, who did not kick a lamb, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who did not play kickball, spent more money on the national team than George Weah. Samuel Canyon do also. That one we can't even talk about it. You know, this government has failed to even really sponsor sports. But it's good that we are here. Today is Wednesday, the 29th day of March. With just 2 days to go, we'll be in April. The year is on a roller coaster. A few months from now, we will be in October. You know, we will be voting for a president, and along with 73 lawmakers and also 15 senators. So this year will be charged politically. The poor people say the political amphitheater will be heavily charged this year. We expect to see lots of political happenings in the country. Let me say a big welcome to all of our listeners following us via radio and online. This is the Class Reloaded. I'm your host, Stephen Johnson. Today I have with us in studio, as usual, Jeremy Matthew Pia, Michelle Duport, Daniel Osando, and of course our own Jerry Yimpan, all the way there in Seoul, South Korea. I'd like to welcome all of our listeners. Let me say all of those following us on Bourgeois Radio FM 98.1 in Montserrado, Premium FM 98.1 in Banga, Bon County, Radio Tupa FM 89.1 in Grand Bassa, Voice of Lofa FM 99.3 there in Lofa County, Radio Joy Africa FM 97.5 all the way there in Magibi, and of course Voice of Compa FM 106.5 all the way there in Compa City, Nima County. It's a pleasure being here today. And let me recognize some of our students in class. I see Pris, Tenant Cooper, Phoebe Warity, Fumi Masikwe, Charles Russell, Wilson S. Smith, D. Nelson Zion, Alexander Dix, Ibrahim Bengu, Spencer Beman, Warlaw, Richard Daniel Cully, Jeremiah Goba, Susan Boaka, Orogawi, Spencer Bima, Alex Tajele, Michael Luo, Victor Tabella Joe, Clarence Benson, Jared Dobley, the great Jared Dobley, Amos Derrick, Andrew J. Jura, Susan Boaka, Dennis David, what's up? Dennis David, Richard Hammer, Bradley Brown, Samuel B. McGill, T. Clark Boto Kui Jr., Muna Well, Miriam McLean, Siafa Cannon, Omen Sumo, Lawrence Cisco, Charles Dumba, J. Benedict Kolo Sonda, Musu Woods, Greg Newton, he's here watching from Congo Township, Rufus Zaulo, watching all the way there from Nimba County, Geraldine Tupa, Samuel Salibasa, Jean Kazaman, Solomon Lopu Ziga. Lopu, thanks for the stuff the other day. I sent it to the guy, and the story is true. Solomon Pabai, Ephraim Harris, Rancy Carr, Felicia Davis, David Rudolph Teach, Francis Johnson, Rufus Zaulo, B. Kroman, Mama Koti, Meli Bo, Aaron Siafa. Yeah, Aaron say, I'm in the class. We're going to have share almost 30 times. Thank you, Aaron. Francis Johnson, Geraldine, Rudolph, Augustus, C.H. Napika, Comforts Guyan, Mohammed V. Foded, Jerry Popai, D. Nelson Zion, Bill W. Netty is watching all the way from Dubai. Amima Connell, Geraldine, Patrick Biddy, say thank you, Jesus, for class we love tonight. Samuel Alpha, T. Besa Kubula, Amos Bala, Jimamo, Robert Sa, Wokwe, Colonel Harris, Eunice, Patrick, Elko Pape, all of you wonderful people, Michael Bassett, Thomas, Fanny McGill, Stephen Cooper, Caroline Ganio, Tiamon Carlo Appiton, Bacon Hilton, Fanny McGill. Let me see who all we got here. Rise Morris, Conor Harris, wonderful Darlington Massacre, Wilma Dwyer, Benjamin Neckler, Daxisha Stewart, and all of you in the Toman Williams. This is watching from Pennsylvania. Teacher Pepe, I say I'm in class. Loretta O. Marsha. I'm closely following from Grand G. Arthur Jones, welcome. Jim Kazama, Jefferson Cooper, and all of you wonderful people. Kindly share the show. Dede Kamara and everybody else. Kindly share the show. I'd like to say welcome to all of you. It's a pleasure. Tonight we will look at, I see my sister Kona Koto and David Akwawala is watching from Oslo, Norway. Welcome everybody. It's an honor to have you all join us. Kindly share the show. And let's have a wonderful Jenny Jada Phillips. Welcome. And let's have a wonderful Quita Dolo and everybody else. Let's have a wonderful, wonderful show. On tonight's edition, we will be looking at beginning with first trending. We'll go around the table. Our panelists will talk about trending issues about Liberia. And then we'll switch the needle. We're moving to a point where the issue of the political actors are getting close to their decision to select their running mate. We'll talk about some of the issues that we're hearing, some of the new trending issues, the political swing. What do we expect? We'll hear from our audience also on the what they expect to see happen, because we're getting close now to a point where it will be coming. The running mate issue will be resolved. I think it's good for our politics. Yeah, welcome Jeremiah, JC. And then we'll also look at the issue of salaries. Medical doctors in the country, and these are not just no disrespect to other career, but medical doctors are specialized people. In our country, we don't have a lot of doctors compared to other countries. If you look at the population and doctor ratio is way low. Most of them, all of them, most of them have not been paid since February, and we're going to April. But yet and still, the government is talking about budget surplus. We see the president making overtures to the national team. We don't hit Lone Star, but if the president can afford to teach out $100,000 to Lone Star, you should be able to pay. Yes, you should be able to pay medical doctors. Many of them are sacrificing already with the meager salary, and you're talking about going to April. Since February, they've not been paid. It's kind of disheartening. And then also the NEC, National Elections Commission. The U.S. ambassador McCarthy spoke and said that he's urging the government to support NEC. Can you imagine? So those are things we want to look at. You know, the U.S. ambassador talking about how government should support NEC ahead of the elections if we want to have a free, fair, transparent, credible election. This is like a father, like a neighbor coming to your house and telling their parents why you can't pay your children's school fee. That's how it sounds. It sounds very awkward, and it shows how irresponsible and reckless this government is, that your basic responsibility you cannot even fulfill. But those are the issues we'll look at. We'll spend some time on them, and then we will we'll move the conversation and then hear from our audience. So let's begin with Chupor. Chupor, what's trending from your end? 2 to 3 minutes each. Pay attention to the time.
Thank you so much. It's good being with the team again tonight. So trending from our end tonight, District Number 2 Representative James Colette has actually branded Vice President Joe Howard Taylor 2014 victory as Senator of Bond County as a complete mistake. You know, the District Number 2 representative said this is one person who didn't hail from Bond County, and as a result, it was a complete mistake to actually elect her in 2014. But then this is the confusing part. He's actually preaching trap-up politics against people seeking elective positions comes October in this year. But many citizens have actually yield to what he actually said, because the vice president and former senator of Bonke has actually won the position for 2 times, or she actually won 2 times in Bond County, but there was nothing she could point at tangible. Even some of the promises she made to her constituencies in Bond County, she failed to live up to them. And she even came back to Bond County and said, with or without Bond County, the CDC victory is sure. So many citizens actually yield to what the district number 2 representative said. What exactly they had problem with was the fact that he is pushing tribal politics, saying that this person didn't heal from Bond, she healed from Lufa, and having her elected the senator of county for 2 terms is a complete mistake from citizens of Bond. But many citizens believe that what exactly he's preaching is true, because I mean, she's one person who has a band of Bond. Imagine Monday reported that courts in courts in Bond have been placed in my building, and usually people visit here to do some of our political rallies, but cannot listen or pay attention to some of these things. The Bond County Technical College, she even promised of completing. Normally, if she comes here, she doesn't even pay attention to it. And she was asked once regarding the college, all she could say was, we will actually have it completed. But then the sad thing is, the college was due to put out 8 graduates this go time. Unfortunately for the student, the graduation program was actually postponed because the college in itself has not been completed, and the students are in unfinished building going to school. So they cannot actually graduate people in that kind of condition. And they said they will actually have the building completed before they can actually put
out your network is
that's the saddest thing for.
Your network is a little off and on, so we're not getting you clearly.
Wow.
You want to log back?
Little rain falling here. Okay.
Yeah. Daniel, please check with Radio Dupa. They're saying somebody saying it's off. So let's come to you, Jerry. While Daniel is checking on Dupa. Jerry, what's trending from your end?
Yeah, for me, one of the issues you said we talk about it, the U.S. ambassador statement, Orchard Neck. But I would like to talk about this president executive order authorizing those that should have resigned about a year ago, in keeping with the amendment of the Code of Conduct. Oh my God. I'm using my phone, so it's a distraction, sorry. Those that should have resigned, because I can remember in 2017, the CDC was one of the parties that was really, really concerned about this implementation of the Code of Conduct. But for the president, that's why when I followed the economic freedom fighter, they raised the issue. I think we're following it, but it's very important because for the president to fully be aware that there is there's a law that authorizes public officials who want to contest for elected offices to resign 1 year prior to, because they said 2 years was like too much. So they amended the law. The president being fully cognizant of the fact that there is a law, then you come and issue an executive order. Yes, I mean, it's your right to issue executive order, but there is an existing law that must be respected. And then you allow the time to expire or for them to violate the code of conduct before you come here to issue an executive order. I think it should not be accepted. The National Elections Commission should not authorize. They should adhere strictly to the code of conduct, because you cannot be going to a major elections and the president is aware this code of conduct issue has been a long issue concerning elections. So those that have interest, I think one of such presidents that respected the code of conduct in 2017 was former Foreign Minister and former Finance Minister Augustine Quayle-Tafuan. Respecting laws in our country is one of the major issues. That's why when I listen to the ambassador on article War Crime Codes, when she visited Liberia, she said, if you cannot respect this big law, it means you cannot respect the little ones. And that's how all of the violations of our laws. So we are paying key attention. Besides people getting information to us that other people who are in corruption should not contest, we are also concerned about those that should resign or that should have resigned a year prior to elections, but the president is trying to joke with the Liberian people and make it appear like he's respecting the law. No, we did not need an executive order for people who are fully aware. The issue of code of conduct has been part of our discourse for the past months. So those that knew exactly that they wanted to contest for elections, in my opinion, they should have resigned. So we are looking at the National Elections Commission to respect this portion of the code of conduct. And there are several other issues, because if we respect the code of conduct, it means that there are so many persons that shouldn't campaign. Because I talk about those that shouldn't campaign. If you are appointed by the president in specific position, you should not be able to participate in politics. I do not know how far we will go, but we have to inform the Election Commission that there is a law that prevents those appointed by the president to participate in politics. We look forward to strict adherence to the code of conduct. So, I mean, that's one of my issues, but we'll talk about the other issues you talked about. So I'll stop here for now.
Thank you.
And I look forward to
a very
good conversation this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And speaking about the code of conduct, I think also those who are in the race with some of those who are government officials should also challenge the process. Should also challenge. Should file protests, that people were in violation of the law if they didn't resign within a time. I think they too have a responsibility also.
You're not hearing me?
No, I'm hearing you. I'm just talking. I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
We can hear you, Jerry. So I was just saying. Now let me go back to Jupo. You want close on your trending issue in a minute, to 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah, so like I was saying, District Motu Representative James Colette said the victory of Vice President Joel Howard Taylor as senator in Bond County was a complete mistake. He said the citizen actually made a very big mistake to elect the vice president as senator during the 2014 election. And he said one reason for which he said that was because the vice president, in her wisdom, in her capacity at that time as senator of Bond County, she actually promised several other things to people of Bond and failed to deliver on some of these things. And another thing he was preaching was a trap of politics, and something many saw as disservice to the Liberian people, because they said this is something that brought war. But they actually believe, listen to what he said, because the vice president, according to them, has actually deliberately failed to live up to some of the promises, because she actually paid a visit in Bonn, and wherein she made a reckless statement that with or without Bonn County, the CDC victory is sure. And this is one thing that citizens actually hold as gross disrespect to the people of Bonn County. Another one was the inability of this government to complete the Bonn County Technical College. And they said it is something that, I mean, is a disservice to the student populace in Bonn. So many feel that what exactly the district motor representative said, it was actually truth, and there's a need for the vice president to actually come back and do the right thing. And just to pick up from, yes, in 30 seconds to pick up from Jerry Trenton issue, about six persons occupying positions, I'm talking about government positions, are actually vying for elective positions in Bonn County, and citizens in Bonn are actually demanding that those people actually resign because they have already covered up the time, or took some of the time where in about 2 years prior to the election, you should resign. But some of them are actually not listening to it, and they are going about running their respective campaigns in those districts, and the citizens want them to actually resign, and to actually, because some of them feel the government is doing this as tactics in making sure that those people are occupying their position, and they are like agents or spy agents in those various districts. So thank you.
Thank you. Daniel.
Thank you, Stevie. And then let me say good evening to everybody. Training for me, as always, there are litany of issues that we can talk about. But I just wanted to throw light on how divided the country is right now on a George Weah. For ages, sport has always served as a unifying force. And I recall as a kid growing up in Ivory Coast, would leave the refugee camp, listen to the radio when Lone Star is playing in neighboring Ghana, right? Because in Ivory Coast, you saw the rebels putting down their guns to go to the stadium to watch Didier Drogba and the other people playing football. So sports everywhere around the world has been a unifying force. But you realize when the national team was playing yesterday, there were divided views being expressed on social media. I sat at Fuzon to watch a game on 14th Street. And right next to me was a very prominent Liberian youth. And he said he was cheering for South Africa. Why? I asked him, I said, why are you cheering for South Africa? He said, because it looks like wins.
I think I can guess that prominent Liberian youth, even though I was not there.
He said if Lone Star wins the game, the buggers will be all around here and say that job we have bigger achievement. They will not see it as a national impetus to unify the country and move into history. They will see it as an accomplishment of George Weah. Evident by that is some of the posts that you saw on social media by permanent seditions, Akaros Gray, going on to label the national team, the national symbol of the country, as Munyan boys. So that brought division. There were mixed views expressed by Liberians. And I mean, the 90-minute excitement aside, I'm worried about my country. Because by all parity of reasoning, every Liberian should be happy and cheer Lone Star. Even if Lone Star put 11 crippled men on the field, we should go and cheer them. They are carrying the country's pride. They are the pride of the motherland. But to see people openly going against the national team, because one group of people who are governing the country at this point have decided to politicize everything. We never heard this thing. Even though the Lone Star or Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who is not a footballer, actually scored more goals than the Lone Star has scored on a George Weah, who is a footballer. We never witnessed the nation being divided as to her support to the national team. And this is happening at a time when we are going to elections. I mean, we've sat here over and over, we talk about the immaturity, the outright stupidity about seditions, and not just smaller seditions, those in the rank and file, the ruling party. They have never seized the moment to say, for once, let us exercise leadership. Because we are governing a country. We're not running a political party. When the national team is going to play, and you see people start to post on Facebook, what did the president's son even go to do there? Is he part of the national team? Is he a member of the 22 men that were called by the coach to justify and qualify for the game? He's not part of them. What did George Weah's son go to do there? The presence of George Weah's son. When Tumede Weah, who played football at a higher level, has refused to play for Lone Star, he switched nationality to America, has angered many Liberians, and you see the one who was in France, lavishing his life, having partied 4 times in a week, and I think the police wanted to arrest him several times. He had to come back to Liberia here, and people see him on the private ground with Lone Star. Makes it appear like, look, the people are not serious for anything, so we cannot support the team. And so, what that young man told me, that you see what Akara Green has started to post on Facebook, if the national team qualify, they will say it is George Weah's bigger achievement. And true to a word, when the president came on the airport, you listen to what he said. You listen to him. He's supporting the team. Everywhere around the world, people invest in programs to build the national team, to build sporting events across the country where you can groom talent. But in the case of Liberia, we wait. We allow 5,000 of youth to grassroots sport development in the budget, the national budget, that should be reflective of the government priority. You allow 5,000 to grassroots sport development, and then when the national team is playing, you go on the field and say, oh, we're getting 100,000 to score the first goal. For me, this is very important because I think regardless of our political differences, reconciliation should be at the core of everything we do as a country. But come to think about it, the people who are currently ruling this country are not normal people. They're not normal people. No normal person would have done what Akara's great did. And he goes on to justify what he did yesterday. And once Akara's great did it, all the other citizens followed. They labeled the national team Munya boss. That was reflective in the poor tenor of the game. So the stadium was literally empty. Because people said, we'll go there, a CDC team will not go in there. You know, Stephen. So we can talk this for all we can, but I think it is important that people get to realize that they are governing a country. And the government needs to do things that will bring people together. When the election comes, we'll talk the politics. But I'm very worried about a growing wave of division in this country. It is not good, and I think that can be attributed to the manner and form in which the CDC has decided to govern this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. You raised a very valid point. And the interesting thing about your point is that the current president is, considering himself to be a man of peace, a peace ambassador. But the division in the country to date has never happened, even during the rebel days. As much as a lot of people hated Charles Taylor, we did not see the kind of division when Lone Star played. The national team was always referred to as the Lone Star, and everybody from all walks of life, whether you were supporting the Taylor despotic regime or not, whether you came from a warring faction that later morphed into something else, everybody supported the national team. It was Liberia versus them. It was Liberia versus them. I can recall in all of the years I've been going on the SKD where Liberians trooped to the field or stay home in protest that they didn't want Lone Star to win because they didn't want a government to take a glory. The level of division in this country, in Liberia, is so entrenched that I'm afraid. You know, and you can bear me witness, Pia and you, Daniel, when the CDC took over in 2018, one of the first things it did was to publish what they call a blacklist. Yeah, a rest list of people.
The rest list.
Yeah, people whom they deem that they should never work in government because George Weah was now president. My name was on that list. Pia name is also on that list. And many other Liberians, I think almost 60 or 70 of us name were on that. In fact, I was number 3 on that list.
Oh, you are there?
Yeah, number 3. In fact, I'm number 3 on that list. You know, that's how sad. That's how in that division, because they didn't check it from the beginning. That angle. And the funny thing is, and that's why I wrote in my article about the guys in the CDC and the Sake, how the very same people who are helping you when you were in opposition, they didn't see you as an opposition, saw you as a Liberian. You come around, they help you. These are the very same people you say they should die. They will never get job. Let them stay in Liberia and die from hard times. They should never get job. You started chasing other guys who were in government, Paula Mohammed Ali, Maurice Kruman, and other guys who were in government, not at appointed position, but just regular civil servant. So the level of division in our country is so sickening that I'm afraid that if there should be a change, which of course we know of government, it will be very nasty. It will be very nasty, and we all got to pay keen attention to that. Let me go to you.
But Stevie, like somebody telling me, oh my man, you better be learning until the 12-year finish.
Yeah,
I said, okay, your watch.
Yeah, Pia, let's hear from you.
So I was thinking whether the U.S. ambassador, the outgoing U.S. ambassador to Liberia, does not feel welcome anymore in Liberia because what is the basis of speaking to newspapers and telling us that you are fully in charge? It goes without saying that just the pronouncement Nini an ambassador is just the beginning of a process that we eventually see the replacement comes to reality. It's not that when a country announces a new ambassador in a country, automatically the other one just walk away. Because that new ambassador got to go through process, they got to go for confirmation. So for the ambassador to have been trying to clarify that he's still fully in charge, I was wondering, he's been a good guy, basically popular because he's been strong. I know of late, when he decided to try to take an aim at people who are not in the country but very concerned about their country, very concerned about the things that are happening in the country, and they're talking about it. He decided to portray them in an unacceptable way. I mean, a lot of us didn't talk much about that, but what he did at that time was like portraying people with strong opinions about their country, frowning on what's happening in the country as people who were interested in seeing the country disintegrate or burst into flame. And what he did by that was to, in a way, put the lives of other people at risk. I don't believe that was his place. I think that has bothered him a little bit. And so he's struggling to tell us that he's still in charge. Well, we know you're in charge, but eventually when the processes that are evolving with the new ambassador taking over are completed, of course, you'll be a former ambassador. we're not interested in know whether you're still in charge or what. I mean, it goes without saying. Second, Brandon Samukar was on one of the local media, and he raised an issue that all of you, Daniel Sando and other people in Liberia, got to pay attention to. You see, all the thing we do here, we're on the show talking. We say, "People go register to vote." We say, "This will happen." But there are things that the National Election Commission is executing on behalf of the CDC that people are not paying attention to, but that will set the basis for undermining the integrity and transparency of the 2023 election. So Brandon was saying that one of the things they observe is that in places perceived to be stronghold of the ruling party, the voter registration centers are within proximities that are easy to reach. And in places they perceive as being their weak point. He said some of the voter registration centers will take people like 45 miles to get to. If I have to travel for 45 miles or up to 45 miles just to do voter registration, it goes without saying that I could just say to hell, why am I traveling that long distance to go and do voter registration? And if that kind of strategy works, and it prevents people who are in your perceived stronghold, and you're making specific reference to Lofa, which everybody knows is a stronghold of JMB, and you do that to suppress the vote, to discourage people from doing voter registration, is going to be catastrophic. And I'm glad that Brandon is talking about it. But those of you on the ground, including JMB himself, I think the current batch of registration that are going on does not include Lofa. They got to make those representations to ensure that those kinds of situations are addressed before the voter registration gets there. And Lofa may just be a tip of the iceberg. As they'll be moving into the interior, I'm sure that is going to be an issue. In places where they know they are not strong, they're going to be doing that, taking voter registration center to distances that are difficult to reach. And if you do that, basically you're suppressing the vote. So it is not sufficient to talk about it. I commend Brandon for talking about it. But the next step should be, what do you people do, JMB and the rest of the people, what do they do to make sure that that issue is mitigated before the voter registration starts? And as a Catholic, I am concerned that our Pope, who is about 86, you know, when people reach that kind of age, they're getting closer to their sunset. The Pope is 86. Normally at that age, people start having respiratory infections. So he's been admitted in the hospital. It said that he'll be there for a couple of days because he's having respiratory infection. So I urge people to pray for our Pope. I'm a Catholic, and you know the Pope, when something happens to the Pope, even the process leading to finding a new Pope, all that kind of thing, it's something that gets global attention. And on the international stand, that's something that is trending a lot, and it caught my attention because I'm a Catholic. And to close, I come to the Lone Star thing. I mean, I heard everything Daniel said, Jerry, everybody said. But one of the things that caught my heart was that there was a video that I watched yesterday. In that video, there was a group of angry people. The Lone Star players were still on the field. Even the South Africans were still there. Their buses got stuck. They could not come up because there were this group of people who were threatening violence. And a bulk of them could be heard openly insulting in very terrible ways the mother of goalkeeper Tommy Sango. Liberia, we cannot always continue to do things differently. In this modern era, we cannot be living and behaving like people who are still in ancient times. We can't be this uncivilized. Tommy Sango, whatever he is, mother did not go to SKD to play football. You don't even know whether she's alive. If she's alive, you didn't see her at SKD playing football. You believe her son was responsible for your game, and you cursed his mom. And this person, I don't know whether it was a radio station, I mean, a journalist or who, carrying this lie with this guy insulting that man's mother and demanding that they should pull him down from the bus. They want to deal with him. You sit down there, you have a country. The government of the day is not investing in the game. Stephen was talking about the budgetary allotment. So how do you expect this team to play magic? You don't blame the fact that the team could not qualify on people who refuse to support the team for a poor goalkeeper. These same people support teams in Europe. They're watching games all over the place. They support the Barcelona, the Madrid, the Chelsea, everybody. Yeah, they may grumble and say the coach is not doing well. They don't go about cussing coaches and players, man, when their teams lost. But in Liberia, that dumping ground, therefore they think they can just do anything to anybody anyhow. It took the police fully deployed, bandaging a sub Rafa to safely take the two teams out of that place. Why those fools were there cussing somebody, man? Because they don't win game. When we were on the show before that game, I said, yeah, that I didn't expect much from the Lone Star because I watched the game in South Africa that drew. But because we drew 2-2, didn't mean that we demonstrated something that showed that we're a better team that would go to Cote d'Ivoire. I said on the show. So I wasn't surprised of the result over there. And I don't blame the players. I blame the regime that has refused to support the team. But yet senior officials of the regime, that the great, the Thomas Father, will refer to our national team as Munya boys. And I'm sure some of the players playing for the team are offended that somebody wants to call them by the name of their own political philosophy. And these are supposed to be your leaders. Even County Lee, Stevie, and the guys, you saw how the County Lee, not even the final. Look at the County Lee quarterfinal, semi-final, how that the stadium was packed that you couldn't see anybody. That Lone Star we playing South Africa again, that would have gotten them one step
to take them to
Ivory Coast. And if he was empty that way, something was wrong. And that we were wrong is because these irresponsible leaders, these irresponsible civilians in the grade, the father and others, have taken their politics to another new level altogether. That they're calling our national team, a team named after our national ensign, Munya boys. And so a lot of people say, hey, I'm not going anywhere to cheer Munya boys. And then the only thing you got to do is to go cost the goalkeeper man because they scored 2 goals on you and the team lost. They got to do better, man. All that primitive thing among some of us Liberians got to stop. Why were they rudeness? What did the man do to you? In fact, Joe Yahoo president and they did it to him. I seen Ghana again that Stephen talk about that. He said he cried. He start crying that it was causing a man, you not do this.
I want to retire from football.
Then you come back again. Why are you president? You reckless. You don't want to pay attention to the national team, even though you're a footballer, won Ballon d'Or. And because of your recklessness, poor cussing, poor goalkeeper, man. So you talk about division. Yes, the country is divided because of the way the people that run the country doing it. Stephen just said it. You come to power, you even say that you call some people restless. In a country where the government targets you and say you should never work, you know what that means?
You don't.
And you expect the country to be united? When everything you do, you name it after your political party? They met Mo Ali at the Ministry of Finance as a director. They're chasing out. Mo is just an example because we know him. They met dozens of other people in government, they chased them out.
They put it in one Africa to be arranged. They
Are you talking about country divided? Daniel, you know why the country divided?
Amos Stewart was changed from
who treat fellow citizens like that, and you expect the country to be united? One of you said when things change, Stephen said things will be nasty. It would not be much nasty. What we all should pray for is that all the provocation that the government is doing, we should pray that it should not lead to anything that looks like armed violence. Because the extent of hate that is in the country, if we ever, God forbid, reach that level, that 250,000 people that you saw that back in the war could be small. Because even we, the ordinary people, you see people going after people to kill. During that time, it was a rebel who, for reason, would be grabbing pocket. But this one, based on the division, people just be walking to their colleagues and killing them. We gotta pray we don't reach there. Like, use the democratic means the best way possible. That's why we should make laws that when the process looks like it's been tampered with, so that is the only means through we kick people up. Africa is a problem, man. I think all of you heard Senegal. The same thing that happened in Guinea, they chased out old man up. The same guy who went against Makish Abdullah Wah because he said Wah was seeking 10. I'm told you just jump up one morning and say you want 10. Makish Sall, who's supposed to be some kind of progressive people. All these guys have been problem to Africa. Arrest Stephen.
You know, and
Macky Sall, he's one of we are best friend. Macky Sall is.
But that relationship, I'm told, it broke down.
That relationship broke down, but that fool is now pursuing a third trend agenda.
Yeah, but and that's the challenge with African government. They get in power, they get corrupt, and so then they're afraid to leave power for fear that there will be reprisal. And Pierre, you know, when you're talking about support to the national team, the amount of money we have spent going to Qatar to watch his son play, Jay Padam alone was enough to even take care of Lone Star. We have got over $100,000 and some more for 48 days. I'm not talking about that's just incidental. I'm not talking about his actual Padam. That's what just incidental. Then you're talking about the entourage, the cost of going on the stadium. You're talking about $1.8 million were used here in Qatar by Weah and his entourage. When you have your national team entire budget at $80,000. Meanwhile, here's a guy who, when Samuel Doe was building the national team, when Samuel Doe wanted to build the national team, took them and sent them to Brazil. They were there for 6 months training. Brought in Brazil and naturalized them as Liberia to play for the national team.
We have Brazilian playing football in Liberia. I was a Barrow man.
Yeah,
I know we had Nascimento, Dorasi, and all the men they brought in, they were playing professional football in Liberia.
Exactly. You have people coming from Guinea, Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria playing football in Liberia. Your National League I versus Barrow was very strong. Fulani, St. Joseph Warrior, Bame, when they play in the soccer stadium, crowded. Honor a man whose entire life was tied to football. Football has died in the country. It took us almost 5 years to play one game. Only because of the government being irresponsible enough not to rehabilitate the soccer stadium. Two, the government is the Lone Star under this government is the least funded national team since 1847, as they will say. But yet and still, this president is a football president. He's a guy who got his fame, got successes. All of his life is based on soccer. But the national team is struggling under him. It just shows where his priority lies. And even more so the extent to which Weah has no interest in the development of sports in Liberia or the well-being of Liberia in general. You know, because a government or a president who is serious about moving the national team to a level that it can be competitive in the Mana River and in ECOWAS region and Africa at large will invest more. Take for instance, look at Sierra Leone. Last Nation Cup, Sierra Leone qualified for African Cup of Nations. Guinea in the midst of political upheavals. Guinea has still gone to the Nation Cup. Ivory Coast went to the Nation Cup. Liberia is the only country in the Mana River Union that failed to qualify for the Nation Cup. The last time we had the Nation Cup almost 23 years ago. Can you imagine?
Steven, we're talking about football because as a footballing president, we're trying to do more. But that same behavior extends to all the national institutions. Have you asked yourself what happened to the National Cultural Troop?
It's dead.
Anytime they have a national program that Crusader of Peace, a private group, they would prefer to deal with. Right? You have the Miss Liberia beauty pageant as the national occasion. What is he doing? He goes to something called Miss Earth.
Yeah.
Where they grab all the small they get and put in there because you want to go there and explore. You go there and spend all the money there.
Buying their gold-plated iPhones.
Yeah, they gold-plated iPhones there. The girl who won the Miss Liberia, they refused to give the girl her award until After she showed all NCDC regalia during the Blue Day, that was after that before they decided to give her benefit after she won the pageant.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
you know that? You don't know that?
Yeah, once she won it,
That's why constrained the leg to go wear CDC attire to show on that Blue Day.
What the other guy for
The Miss Liberia is a leader. You are a leader. An asset of the country beyond party line. She was compelled to go and wear party t-shirt and show on Blue Day.
Man, the country is upside down under this guy, man. Like, bro, it's upside down.
Yeah. Steven, I wanted to say something concerning this. Because you see, I saw GMB post. GMB were admonishing Liberians to support the Lone Star and discouraging citizens like Akaras Gray. You know, he did not mention Gray that we need to stop politicizing sports, because you can observe for once, even with all of the disagreements, besides what people are disappointed about. I mean, every Liberian, you know, one way or the other will be happy to see a flourishing Lone Star. But Akara Gray decided to insult the former vice president. You know, Gray, I wonder he fell from a plum tree before by head. Because to look at your grandfather because of politics, I mean, we responded to him, Amos and other people. But I mean, it's unfortunate. The best way to go, instead of calling people Muya boy, now you call them Muya boy, they've lost. You cannot, you know, get involved into activities that undermine the Lone Star and later come by, you want a result. Then you took onto your page to look at a statement, a criminal like Carol Gray, who has is in all the other situations in terms of corruption. He and Joe Baga not equal, but I think he will be taught a lesson on the capital bypass, because the rudeness, everything he does, the CA leg stuff. That's why he promoting charm and all of that, so that we are can go and lift his hand up again. But we got good news for him. We got good news for him. He's criminal in we are. He cannot tell we are how criminal he is. He cannot tell we are his ineptitude in terms of governing our country. How reckless corruption, all kinds of things are taking place. You decide to take to your Facebook page and insult our political leader, our stand-up bearer, Rescue One. But we know that, I mean, we told you to stop smoking weed, but I don't know why you still smoking weed. It's unfortunate. We're talking about national issues anyway. I mean, I just needed to talk about it.
I know. Grant's a fool, you know.
Steven, please please encourage your people. We cannot throw in the towel at this time. We just few steps away from the elections. That is not a time to be tired. That's not a time to be lackadaisical. That's not a time to be weak. We initiated something on this class and said, when we come on this show, we want to see at least 1K share. You know, and we believe that because all of us are committed to the JMB thing. For example, nobody got to call you and myself every day to say, "But you're come on, you're not coming on." We come because we're supposed to come. So if you two supposed to come and watch the show or share the show, don't expect us to beg you every day before you share the show. Once we don't say it, then you decline. Up to, I've been trying to look at the show for the past few days, the sharing energy drop. Even right now, as we on the show for 1 hour, 8 minutes now, just 383 persons have shared the show. When we say our target is always 1K, we don't have to beg for you to, except you don't want the message to go out. Then I don't know how you expect to win this election. Maybe you're thinking of miracle, maybe you're thinking that the days of Genesis where God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. It doesn't work like that anymore these days. You got to work for what you want. If you don't work for it, you'll not get it.
Exactly.
There's no "let there be light," and there was light coming to place. Why you're doing all these things? You see, government pay money. Farming, all kind of, that's part they got money, they control all the radio stations in the country. They still realize that social media is a powerful place. And they're establishing shows to compete. And you're caving in. You're caving in. Steven put the financial information here the other day. Because you're the same person when you're being called every time we want to show your testing, the class must have means so that we can support the class. Stephen just tried it yesterday. I know why you did that, what discouraged him, put it back up because the goal was for him to keep it up. Other people were calling for Australia, other places say they can use all the app we're using, so we should find something called PayPal because they claim that they can use PayPal from anywhere they are. So Stephen will try to be working on that, but what use is all of that when people say this thing and then when you reach out, they don't do what they're supposed to do. Meanwhile, people expect they should be on your radio station.
Yeah.
People expect to come here and sit down here whole day and be doing something that you're not helping to spread. If you're not helping to spread the message, what use is it for me to come sit down here holding 3-4 hours wasting my time? Or for Stephen or Daniel. At least we on this side at daytime. Daniel, Jupor, then in the night. You constrain the labor to be sleeping in studio because you can't go home and you can't play your part. Jerry over there. That's some money. That means now whether you're going to work. If they're early in the morning, we wake up 5 o'clock, you have to be part of the show to some level before you go to work. That's the sacrifice people are making. Make your own. Share the show. Support when you can support. Please, we back you. Let us not be backing you every day before you share the own. You believe in JMB? You want you to win election? You call him rescue? Do you rather be at a country needs rescue? If you believe it, then the way you're proceeding is not a way that will lead to the country being rescued. If we don't do the right thing, the hell that has been created in our country already with God, we have 6 more years of it. And who knows? That Marquis saw over there, progressive man, you're costing and fighting Abdullah Wah for one of your 10. Then you come to take 10. By the time you're all out lazy, you're importing we are, and you're giving another 10, and the next thing you start thinking about is for you to have 10. So let's joke with what we all have as a country. Thank you, Steve. I just wanted to make that point because
it's important. It was important. It's very important.
We say the same thing over and over.
It's important, Pierre. And I don't think we should keep every night then come here and remind people about nobody call and say you're coming on. In fact, when we delay 1 minute, people be calling, you're coming on. But we come on, they don't even play their part. You know, it gets frustrating after a while, and you want to quit, but then you look and say you already in the middle of the ocean. It's better you sail into visible tributary and reach the land rather than just quitting. But I think all of us here have a responsibility, and that responsibility, it has to be shared. You know, you do your part and we do ours, and together we achieve greatness.
Look at that thing we have, Stevie. 2 former presidents' sons were mined up. Can you tell me what came from out of here?
0.
Do we know the killers? Gloria Scott's daughter was murdered. They almost killed herself to defend herself with pepper spray. Do we know the hair and tail of that case? They're not trying to intimidate her by trying to create an impression that she killed her own daughter. They have to scare her so that in the end they can drop the case as they have dropped every other case. Have we forgotten that talk of Batanyeswa, Gifty husband, Peter's wife, who is here now in the state? Have we forgotten so much so that all the people are crying? We want to keep these same people in power to have more deaths? How many more children do we want to see crying for their fathers or their mothers who've been killed? Liberia's situation is not normal. So we got to treat it like an emergency. If we fail October 10, we got a long way to go. And I can just imagine how many more children will cry for their father or mother. How many more wives will cry for their husband. How many more husbands will cry for their wife? I went to school with Sylvester Lama, smart young man. He was commissioner, he was development superintendent. Those who interacting with that man on the ground says he looks like a man who's insane. He's talking out of his head. He can't overcome how his wife, smart girl, smart gifted, was crushed to death for committing no crime except for doing her work. My people, is not normal. Let's stand up and rescue that country. It is not sufficient to just call JMB Rescue One. Like I said, no biblical thing to say, let there be light and there was light. Calling it Rescue One doesn't mean we rescue anything. Until we work towards it,
Yeah,
we're in trouble. Your
we're in
people see
serious
that we
trouble.
are in trouble.
In a deep mess. And just by coming here and saying rescue one, will not change anything. We got to work for it. And these guys will not leave power easily. We got to fight. We got to fight. We got to reach the nooks and corners of the crannies, the nooks and crannies of our country. That's the only way we'll be able to defeat these guys. Other
We
than
gotta
that,
use,
we come
we
here.
gotta use the democratic plier to
Yeah.
screw them out of power.
We come here, we joke with this thing, we'll tell you, share the show every now and then. We got to keep talking it. You know, it gets frustrating after a while. But I mean, let me start. Can you guys please mute? Yeah, let me start the second phase of the conversation, and we'll just talk about this briefly. The salary issue. You know, when the last government, when President Sirleaf and Joseph Boakai took over in 2006, they had inherited a civil service that had not been paid for 38 months. So for 38 months, civil servants had not been paid. And so because they have not been paid for 38 months, the government was in arrears for that long. Now the second part to that was you had.
Thank you. Sorry, Stephen. Thank you, Martin. Martin is a strong voice in the Liberian community, and I just wanted to acknowledge him adding a voice. Thank you, Martin.
Yeah, thank you, Martin, for helping. And besides the fact that civil servants hadn't been paid for 38 months, a director in government at the time was making $15 a month. Our people became so accustomed to being paid July 26th and December 25th. It became a norm. But one of the biggest achievements of the President Sirleaf Boakai administration is the fact that you had a more professionalized civil service, salary increased by over 600% and became current. Many persons who work in the government under President Sirleaf will realize that by the 15th to the 20th of every month, you have your pay. And Liberian people used to say, you get your alert, the bank alert to tell you, say, your money has been direct deposited into your account. And President Sirleaf had said that if nothing happens in the country, civil servant must take pay. And so between the 15th to the 20th of every month, civil servant received their salary. Fast forward to 2018. President Weah takes over, inherits a government that was current on salary. And what did he do? What did he do? Because of the gross level of incompetence, they were able to mismanage the payroll. So what they did, they recruited seditionists in their drones, put them on the payroll, and as a result, the payroll skyrocketed, and the government could not fund the payroll. And so because of that, what you started doing is to de-hole, cover hole, taking from those who were already poor and giving it to the poorer. And then you instituted what you call your harmonization scheme. Now, what that harmonization scheme did was to reduce the pay drastically of Liberians who were considered professional people and were being paid based on their expertise. You reduced the pay because you wanted to accommodate people at the basement of the wage bill. Now, while you thought you were creating opportunities for people at the basement, paying them $45 a month, you are also creating a group of discouraged workers at the top, many of whom are the professional people who should provide expertise that will move your country in the right direction, expand your revenue base, create opportunities for your people. One of such group of people are the medical doctors. Doctors are essential part of our everyday lives. I remember in 2006 when President Sirleaf and Joseph Boakai took over, we had only 50 doctors in the country. 50 doctors. The ratio of patient to doctor ratio was over 15,000 patients to a doctor. That's how disastrous it was. And one of the things they did was to say, let us invest in increasing the level of doctor. They made Dogliati free. AM Dogliati School of Medicine became free. In fact, students were given stipend. Those who attended school were given stipend, a computer. And the salary of doctors was increased astronomically. And so the last time we checked, we had over 2,000 doctors across the country in different disciplines. Some of them were sent overseas to acquire education. I remember Arvin, who is now the only neurosurgeon in Liberia, was sent to Senegal for specialty. And many other young Liberians went to other places for specialty. Now today, we've seen a post from a doctor saying that since February, they've not been paid. 2 days from today will be in April, and they've not been paid. But yet and still, you have a government that is borrowing. The last time we checked the borrowings number, it shows that in the last 6 years, the government has borrowed $1.3 billion, thereby moving our net borrowing from $800,000 in 2018 to around $2.2 billion in 2023. Now, the fundamental question is which aspect or which area of our society do you have all of these monies going? Nobody can point to it. If you're borrowing just to pay salary, you're not covering on salary. If you're borrowing to engage in capital projects, you're not building anything valued at over $50 million across the country. You're not doing any of those. So what is happening? Are people just borrowing to steal? Or are people just borrowing to enrich a few government officials? What is happening in our country that people cannot take pay? The government keeps borrowing. The country is going down here. The economy is in tether. Conditions are tough. And part of the reason people did not go on the fee, in addition to the fact that they were protesting, people could simply not just afford. The cost benefit. The cost of going SKD, pay your own way, go SKD and watch Lone Star defeated versus buying a bag of rice or buying a cup of rice for you and your family to eat. The 25 kg bag of rice is $17, almost $20. The ticket is almost $30. The cost benefit. Why would I want to go on the soccer fee, spend $30, watch Lone Star defeated, when I can buy a 25 kg rice for me and my family to eat? And we carry the day. So part of the reason why you saw the stadium empty, in addition to the fact that a lot of Liberians were protesting, were also because of the economics. Many Liberians could not afford to go to the stadium, the transportation fare, plus the cost of entering the fee. So guys, what do you make of all that is happening when you talk about surplus budget, yet and still you cannot fund your payroll? You're not engaging any real capital investment for us to say it is contributing to what you're using your money from. So what is happening? Let me begin with you, Daniel, on this one.
Stephen, thank you. I think you laid a very brilliant premise, and I couldn't help but to agree. But I think what has now happened is that we are government has not just shown to the population that it is incapable of governing this country. I think to a greater extent they are proving that they don't just know what they are doing. They don't just know what they are doing. Because look at the figures he put out to us. We are government in the last 5.5 years has borrowed close to 1.67 billion, right?
Yeah.
Let us look at the infrastructure initiative of the We Are government. How are they spending this money?
Let me try to get a chat. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Be talking.
How are they spending this money? They're not spending the money on any meaningful project that will bring dividend of dividend to the Liberian people. Basically, what they are doing, they are borrowing this money and diverting this money to the personal use. That's why you see, when you look in the national budget, the allocation for the NSA is very, very astronomical. Astronomical, not because the government has any basic, challenge when it comes to intelligence gathering or security issue. No. The NSA figure in the budget, the allocation to the NSA in the budget is not high because GOL is concentrating on any regional security threat. No. As far as they're concerned, they're using the allocation to the NSA to enrich themselves. Because, mind you, we all know that the NSA allocation cannot be audited. It cannot be openly discussed. Those are coverage security operations. So any allocation to the NSA cannot be discussed even during budget year. It cannot be questioned because it borders on, as they would say, national security. So that is the focus of the Weah government. They do not believe in sustaining and building on the system that was inherited from the Sirleaf administration. For example, you inherited a government that had no liability as far as salary was concerned. No liability. It was your job as of January 2018 to ensure that you pay civil servant. What did they do? You blotted the payroll. Use the civil service as a recruitment ground for incompetent citizens. In the end, government cannot pay. This is a chart. In the end, government cannot pay. You took Liberia back to receivership. The central bank was flooded with citizens. The IMF had to go in to say, look, you have to drop the wage bill or else you're not going to be able to live up to the challenges and everything. So, Stephen, I think the Weah government is basically focused on breaking down the structures, the systems that they inherited, the system that made Liberia to be a functioning democracy, a functioning civil service, a functioning society where professionals can get just, benefit for the job or for the education or for the credential they acquire from the schools they go to. The Weah government is not interested in that. What they are interested in is to have the president making misguided pronouncements of budget spending. Those are the things that attract the Weah government most. Okay, because no one will imagine a country that is so challenged in terms of, basic healthcare services, a country that needs more hospitals, a country that needs more medical doctors. You can play the politics. You can play the politics on Capitol Hill, but you certainly do not want to jeopardize the fate of the citizenry when it comes to health. So that's why every government will be serious. I'm sure that's the reason why the Sirleaf administration even created an incentive for people who go to school to specialize. AM Dougherty, they say we'll get you stipend every month. The first thing the government did, they cut that off. The doctors no more receive stipend. The students no more receive stipend. Okay? So it may seem surprising, but in actuality, it shouldn't be, because this is a government that we've known for the last 5.5 years. This is a government that is more interested in breaking down system. This is a government that will just do the unthinkable. The unthinkable. Because by this time, we should be having a conversation to say, look, from 2018, when Mr. Weah became president, this is the level of investment they have made in the health sector. There's the outcome, and this is what we intend to do when we are given the second term by the Liberian people. They're not saying that to you. And the reason why they're not saying that, because they have made zero achievement out of the sectors. Zero achievement. Just yesterday, the workers at the Ministry of Lands, Mines, and Energy were protesting. The other day, the folks at the Ministry of Information were protesting. Why? Because some of them make, lower salary as can be compared to $45 US. Okay? So, it is very much unfortunate for our country, because in the end, you already have a country that is challenged. You have fewer medical doctors. What happened in the end? What happened in the event where these medical doctors decide to lay down the utensils, to go on strike action? Do you know how many babies are going to die? Do you know how many pregnant women will not give birth on time? Do you know how many lives are going to be lost if the doctor decide to go on strike? So it is just unthinkable. But again, when you have a reckless government that proceeds in a very laissez-faire manner, they do not care for the public by large. They don't care for the reverberation of this kind of action. So it's very much unfortunate. And that's the reason why we're just going to keep encouraging our people. Go and get registered to vote. Because with your voter card, you can determine the next leadership of a country.
Thank you. Jerry, let me come to you.
Yeah, Stephen. It is unthinkable because I'm not an economist, but it is a fact that the more people are empowered in terms of the economic resources, because if citizens take pay on time, like public service or civil servants, they have the economic power to engage in markets. Businesses will get their monies on time, import basic goods and services that people consume on a daily basis. But under the weird government, they do not have time for that. They do not have time for that. I can remember teachers across this country, because of consistent engagement from the MCSS Teacher Association. I mean, teachers were paid per qualification. If you have C certificate, you have B certificate, AA. But today, the teachers were on strike that the continuous harmonization, every month their pay can be harmonized. Every month their pay can be harmonized. Can you imagine? Madam Sally did extremely well to have increased the salary of civil service. And the most unfortunate thing, this president on the Samuel Kanya Doe's food complaint on the 22nd of January did indicate that we will pay civil servants deserving salaries so that public money cannot end up into their pockets. But due to the lack of good economic strategy and lack of sincerity, you observe that they reduce the pay of people. After reducing the salary, you don't even pay the people on time. How do you expect them to feed their family? How do you expect them to be motivated? And from the management perspective, Stephen, it's like we have what we call the intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. But in the public sector, yeah, there are a lot of people who have the intrinsic, but extrinsically, you have to motivate the people. Because if public servants or civil servants are not motivated, it gives room to poor performance. It gives room to what we call quiet corruption. Service delivery, that if Jerry was sitting here, he needed to sign a paper to get people taking pay. Jerry will just say, but if I do all the work later, or let me go somewhere else. That's why even get some people, teachers, that are supposed to pay attention to our students in the educational sector. They are teaching 2-3 schools. They come to the public schools now, they are tired because you don't pay the people on time. Madam Sadi time, as we all know, by the time they're 15, and because she noticed that there were some hurdles in terms of people getting their pay, she said, okay, we'll get it into the bank. So that when Jerry Impan ready, he go to the bank, he get his pay. As soon as they carry, they post it. So, I mean, all these things, even though it's still continuing, people go to the bank. But if you cannot pay the doctor, if you cannot pay the teachers, we should have civil service association, they are there. Nobody talking, they talk once in a while. But all these things are affecting our people. The other day I learned their minds. People were protesting that people making 45,000, $45 US per month. Then you say you want to lay people out of poverty. Then you want productivity. It's so sad. And that is the reason why we are encouraging our people. That you've seen the men who say you are going to give you deserving salaries so that you can take public money. They are taking public money and building their condominiums. But they don't have time how you pay your rent. You know how many people today in Liberia that is difficult to even send their children to school. We were talking about budgetary appropriation issue the other day. You don't even have the plan to say, let me increase the level of schools. When we have public schools in Monserrato, Madam said, yeah, there were some institutions sometimes with partnership with people so that you can widen the scope of the public sector of the public school so that people can go to school, because some parents cannot even afford. Imagine a man who making $50 like the last time they said America. That man is supposed to make sure he pay rent. He's supposed to send his children to school. Still, you are not paying civil service. But you go to other places, they get all kinds of money, building estates for themselves. So we have the chance, fellow Liberians, let's register to vote and rescue this country on the 10th of October by electing JMB. I can say all of us is a, because sometimes, you know, we have to make some interventions, but you feeling it the most. Some of our friends, yeah. I mean, so we need to take a decision. It's unfortunate that Weah is an ungrateful character to the Liberian people. He did not do anything and they gave him power to come and give something to our. I think it's unfortunate. I stop this far.
Thank you, Jared. I think somebody gave you a hard time calling you, right? Because you keep going in and out. Pia, let hear from you. Then we'll move
Yeah,
to
I'm using my phone. That's why. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, look, I get it that this discussion is sparked by a concern for doctors who have been paid. But those of you who live in a developed world, it doesn't matter whether you're a doctor, you're a school teacher, you are who. It's just a concept anywhere that when you render your services, when you work, irrespective of in what capacity you work, you should be paid. If you are told that yes, you have this employment, your salary is X, Y, Z, when the month ends, you should receive that salary. You put in your time you work, the remuneration for which you're working must be received unconditionally. A government that is not able to conduct itself in a way that it pays people who are employed in the private sector does not deserve to be a government. Because the individuals themselves who are working in the government, they got everything they have. When the president was taking 100,000 fund to say he would give to the Lone Star if they want South Africa, it means they got money. You can't invest in a team. I hear them talking about 5,000, this 1,000, but you say you got 100,000 to give them if they won game. But you can't pay doctors who are doing their work. You can't pay teachers. You can't pay ordinary civil servants. You know what you spend to survive, but you want to pay other people $45, and they have to come and protest. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. You give somebody $45, what kind of life you think that person living? If the man buys a bag of rice, how does he even eat the rice? Bag of cocoa is around $1,000. What soup will he eat with the rice? What happens when somebody is sick? How the children go to school? So people just have to be honest when you're doing these things. Put yourself in the shoes of the people. Ask yourself, if it were me, can I live on $45? Ask yourself that question. But people are so cruel, as Stephen was saying, the president will travel. 1.5 million, 2 million expenditure, passing around doing nothing but because he wants to get the money. So he manufactured these trips, go, they spend all the money, and the other people in the country suffering. The country needs the best of its brains to work. A few persons agree to work in government, they will make the sacrifice. You jump, you say, how much housing pay? You pay them money that cannot keep them out. Then to pay again is a problem. Government has an obligation to provide basic social services. Electricity, water, healthcare. If you can't afford to pay good doctors to be in a hospital, you failed in providing that basic social service to the people. They don't work for government, they don't take salary. You take salary, they pay you that salary to make the country to work. And being able to pay people who are employed in the government is a part of your job in making the country to work. Look, we just saying the same thing over and over. There's a total collapse. of the state functionary. Nobody is in charge. Like I said the other day, sometimes I listen to Eugene Fagon. But the reason why I listen to this guy, you are one of the loudest voices portraying Omen Weah as an angel. Proud of Weah coming to power, he's the guy who said you were destroying a cartel. And what was the agent being used when you destroyed the cartel to turn America into heaven? It was Joe Weah. Today you're telling him all the things about Joe Weah. How did you even come to the conclusion that such a person could run a country? You know? So, I don't know. My hair hurts when I think about what the country is in on a Weah. And that's why sometimes I get so irritated when I see people not playing their part in the thing we all decide to do together to get the guy out. Before the show could come on, Stephen will call him in because at a certain time we all got to log in and be in the background planning before we come on. He couldn't see me on, he was calling me. I was sleeping. Tired, stressful, headache. But then I had to wake up. Most of the time you see me on the show, you don't see me doing any other thing. You see me drinking a cup of tea all day. This is coffee. Because the tiredness was still aiming, but I couldn't just abandon the show. I said, okay, let me be drinking my coffee. At least it will keep me alive. That's what is required for all of us to do. Because look at where we are. Teachers. I know, for example, the University of Liberia, the professor, their pay was a disaster. Ellen did a huge investment in them, and the professors were happy. I don't know why it stands down. The doctors were the same thing. Everything just taking nose down, nose down, nose down, nose down. So now you wonder why people concerned so much about JMB running mate. He's an arrowhead. He's a man where everybody believes can win the election. And with all the crashes that people asking themselves, let's see what the team is. It can just be all about JMB. Let's see what the team is. The team will give them a clue as to whether we will rescue the country as we say, or something else will happen. And Stephen did say, we went almost 2 hours, that today we're just going to take some time to gauge you guys small. Now that we're getting signal that JMB is closer, we think the people's view should matter in what he does. So we spend some of the time here to open the line for you to call. You got to explain anything. Don't say nothing to us, just tell us. Now that JMB is close, who should be the running mate? Just call the name and leave. Call the name and leave. We want to gauge something. We have pulled several times back on the show here, I think 2-3 times. It's been months. Has anything changed? Your calls will help us to understand that. And the intent also, because JMB does listen to the show, is that we don't want him to take that decision just for taking the same because it is his duty. We want him to consider the thought of the people. And I know there are different things that people are doing all around the place, not just here on different shows. So some people are doing some voter perception in there quietly, and all the different things will inform him. But it's good for him to know what the people think as he makes the decision, because the truth is, when a decision is made, that decision will determine whether people remain friendly behind him, or whether some people say, no, I believe in him, but I don't think this is what I want to see for Liberia, irrespective of who he chooses. So it's a big decision. It's difficult. Sometimes we blame them, but it's a big decision. But because he's the guy who been in this business over 30 years, like Joe Biden, the man of wisdom, somebody like me don't have any doubt to believe that he will make the right decision. Even though I didn't firmly believe and agree with his decision in 2017. A wise man changes, and I think he will do it right this time around. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. I don't know what Jupo, if you're listening, I'll come back on so we can take calls. If not, Daniel, you got numbers that I can send to me in back so I can use to take calls, so you can use it to take calls.
Is there?
Jupiter now on. I think you have an internet issue. We need phone number, local phone number.
Put my number there.
And
Yeah, just send it to me. Invite.
They were accused, Daniel, of taking pro LP colors.
Yeah, I know what happened to Jupiter. I know
The number open to anybody you can call.
what happened to Jupiter. Let me see how I can get him.
But better P, I can go to the city. So they say, you want to take my car. You want to take my car, but it's a top stuff.
And the thing, I don't have any color number in my phone, so I can decide which to take, which not to take.
Exactly.
The two phones are here. Anybody who call the person call, I will take. If we can get Jupiter, it'll be okay.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, but even if we can get Jupiter, you can still keep your number there so we can take as many calls as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's so sad. I mean, to get, yeah. Oh, like, how did we get there, man? I remember in 2017.
I think they said the weather condition in what they playing in Bon County is terrible.
Yeah, but Daniel can take the call. I mean, nothing wrong with that. They may not, most of the people will be calling up. Even if they may get 1 or 2 person number on your phone, a lot of people call whose number he doesn't have. And if you got interest in your own candidate, call the number, call the phone. That's all.
I think all the community radio stations facing the same problem because Basel had to go up because of the lightning.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me progress, Steven.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the number sorted out.
But Pia, why Steven tried to put up the number? You raise a very good point. You know, how did people even get to the conclusion that George Weah could run a country?
So who taking the statistics? Stevie?
No.
No, I think
we're just listening.
But Stevie related to numbers, mama, you know numbers.
Yeah, Daniel can be taking call and taking data. I can't do that.
I just want to just listening. We know what's going on.
No, it doesn't go like that. We have always done it by in the end saying how many people call.
I'll mark it.
Yeah, you can just do it.
Man.
All right, so caller on the line. Yeah, you're the first person. Go ahead.
Steven, put a number up now.
You said who?
Nobody Kanga Lawrence is my choice.
All right, nobody Kanga Lawrence. Yeah, so the first caller from my end said nobody Kanga Lawrence. Daniel, I don't have a call. You can go ahead.
So let's announce for those listening via the radio station, you can call 077 001 3667 077 001 3667 0886 677 282. We are expecting your calls on these numbers. For those in the diaspora, you can dial +1 401 688 8266. I don't have a call yet.
I think Pia with the way all the radio stations
I
have
got a call.
issues.
I got a call.
You got a call?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get to the second one because the person already on. I told me one for you. Let me take it and I'll go back to you. So I'll show you call to give your vote. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hold on.
What do you mean? My name is Angel.
Hold on.
I'm writing for JMB. Nobody Lawrence ticket.
JMB, nobody can get Lawrence ticket. Daniel, go ahead.
Hello, caller.
Hello, how you doing?
We are good. Your name and where you call from?
I'm Keller Mawu calling from Nimba.
Who are candidate?
I'm Jeremiah Pankun.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, caller.
Hello, this is Joseph M. Tamba speaking from Ganta, Nimba County.
Your name?
Joseph M. Tamba speaking from Ganta, Nimba County.
Okay, go ahead.
Honorable Jeremiah Pankun.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello, caller.
Good evening.
Yes, your name and where you call from?
My name is Jacob. I'm calling from Ganta City.
Your candidate?
Senator Jeremiah Coon.
Thank you. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes, your name, where you call from?
My name is Emmanuel Nenwa. I'm calling Gopa.
Your candidate?
Yeah. Honorable Jeremiah Coon.
Thank you.
Let me go ahead quickly, Daniel William. Caller on the line, go ahead.
Hey, y'all know the radio station.
Yeah,
that
go
all the radio
ahead.
stations are on today.
Nobody can Lawrence. Thank you. Caller on the line, go ahead. Your candidate.
I'm gonna hold the line.
Hello.
Yeah, your candidate.
Oh, can I be on the way? But I just can I just straighten some points?
We're asking for JMB. We're taking a pool on JMB running mate. So JMB already a candidate. So that running mate.
JB, I want to go low.
Yeah, I want to go.
I get small high. They can do something to shake them up.
Okay, Tiawan Gonglo. Thank you.
Hello, caller.
Hello?
Your name, where you call from?
Adolfo staying from Ganta, Nimba.
All right, your candidate.
Senator Coon.
Thank you.
Y'all know the station on in Ghana and I on in Basso. So y'all.
Hello.
Hello.
Your name?
I'm Morgan Man, calling from Gaza.
Your candidate?
Jeremiah Coon.
Thank you. Hello, caller.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, Melvin Kiwari from Ganta, Nimba County.
Okay.
Jeremiah Coon, the senator.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Steven, why are you laughing at that?
Hello, caller.
You got a radio station that all over. So only Ghana carry it down. So you in trouble.
Somebody just called from Basso and still voting for Jeremiah Coon.
Hello. Yeah?
Hello.
Yes, your name, where you call from?
You're only calling from Ganta, Nimba County.
Where?
Honorable Jeremiah Coon.
Daniel,
you.
hold on there, Daniel. Caller, go ahead. Give your vote.
Yeah, this is for
Yeah. Yeah.
I will vote for I'll let on 1 or 2 weeks.
No, we're not getting reason that vote. When you vote, you vote. Don't get reason. You don't know your reason. Caller on the line, your vote.
Joseph T. Ghana calling from Basement, North Dakota. Nobody can Lawrence.
Nobody can get Lawrence. Thank you. Daniel, go ahead.
Hello, caller.
Hello, sir.
Yeah?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Your candidate, your name.
Gabriel will correspondent calling from Nimba County, Dallas State, Jeremiah Coon.
Okay. Hello?
Hello?
Nima Kane
Yeah.
Bonansi Clary Loleo.
I'm calling you from Ganta, Nimba County. My name is Otis Mauro.
Okay. Go ahead.
Nobody can Lawrence.
All right. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, your name and where you call from?
My name is Matthias V. calling from Ganta.
Okay.
Yeah, Honorable Jeremiah Coon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah?
I'm Charles Senior. I'm Charles Senior calling from Bapuru County.
Okay, Charles.
My candidate is Jeremiah Coon, the senator.
Thank
Okay,
you.
hold it there, Daniel. Caller, go ahead. Your candidate.
Senator Lawrence.
Senator Lawrence, thank you very much. Caller for the UK, go ahead. Your candidate.
My candidate, Nobby Kanga Lawrence.
Nobody can get Lawrence. Daniel, go ahead.
Caller, good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Go-
This is Francis D. Moga. I call from Southern Community.
Okay, Francis.
Yeah. I go for Nobby Kanga Lawrence.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Hello?
Yeah. Hello.
Your name and where you call from?
My name is Toby Mendy. I'm calling from Uganda.
Okay, your candidate.
Jeremiah Makun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello. I'm calling from Providence. My name is Emba and Yombly Kanga Lawrence.
Thank you. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Your name and where you call from?
Hello, I'm calling from Maryland County, People City. Your name and where you call from?
How you listen to the radio?
Through Facebook.
Through Facebook?
Yeah.
Your candidate.
Senator Jeremiah Makun.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, you got call. Your boy got call.
Yeah, sure. I'll take this person.
Your boy go ahead.
Yes, you're having a program, Chief. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. This is the gentleman. Manakanga Lawrence.
Normally,
Support with the woman and to get up with the Kanga Lawrence. Thank you.
thank you so much. Please go ahead. Jeremiah Kun, thank you. Go ahead, caller. Hello?
Yeah.
Turn down. Come on, man. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, please turn down the monitor. Go ahead. What's the name? Where you calling us from tonight? I mean,
You getting me?
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Clarence Bobody.
And go ahead. If today is October 10, I mean,
You see?
who are you going to prefer to be the running mate to the vice president? Let me say to the former vice president.
Jeremiah Kun.
Jeremiah Kun. I have this caller from overseas. Let me get him right here. Hello? Hello? Caller on the line. This person is. Hello? Go ahead, Chief. Yeah.
Okay, caller on the line, go ahead. Who's your candidate? Caller, who is your candidate?
Yeah, they ask you to explain.
Okay. Caller, go ahead. Who's your candidate?
Yombly Kanga Lawrence.
Nobody Kanga Lawrence, thank you. Chuboyo, go ahead.
I dropped this person from the line. So 881-959807, 881-959807.
Okay, caller, go ahead. Who's your candidate?
Yeah, candidate is Yombly Kanga Lawrence.
Nobody Kanga Lawrence, thank you. Go ahead, Jubo.
Go ahead, caller. What's the name we're calling us from tonight?
This is your grandson from Banga City.
It's good having you. Please turn down your monitor. Go ahead.
Jeremiah Kun.
Jeremiah Kun is good. Thank you so very kindly.
Hello, caller.
Hello?
Your name and where you call from?
Hello?
You gotta listen. Don't listen to the monitor. Listen to me through the phone. Your name and where you call from? Oh. Chipo, go ahead.
Yeah, so me re-announce the number and so people can get acquainted. 077-047-2019, 077-047-2019, or 077-00136-60. That's 67.
Let me take this caller on the line. Where you calling?
Hello?
Where you calling from your name and who your candidate?
I'm calling from West Virginia. My name is Rudy V. Zono and Nyamdi Kanga Lauren.
Nyamdi Kanga Lauren. You go ahead.
Please go ahead, caller.
Hello.
You're having a program. Please go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Aman calling from Conway, Jeremiah Coon.
Jeremiah Kuhn. Thank you so much, Chief.
Yeah, I'm calling from North Carolina. My name Maurice Johnson. Madam Lauren.
Your vote. Oh, Senator Lauren. Okay, thank you. You got 1 minute. Your vote. Yombly. Go ahead, Juba.
Go ahead. You're having a program. Your name and
Yeah, this is Jonathan. I can't get by and I call you from Buchanan City. I call you from Buchanan City.
go ahead, Chief. You're having a program.
Yes. Nyamdi Kanga Lauren.
Nyamdi Kanga Lawrence, your preferment. Please go ahead.
Hello?
You're having a program, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yes, Senator Nyamdi Kanga Lauren.
Nyamdi Kanga Lawrence, what you said. Hello.
Hello. I'm Salia Sila from Banga.
It's good having you from the central region of our country. Go ahead, Chief.
Nyamdi Kanga Lauren.
Nyamdi Kanga Lawrence, thank you so very kindly for your participation tonight on the program. Thank you.
Okay, caller. Go ahead.
Yeah, Professor George from Minnesota.
Yes.
Ibrahim
Daros Dillon. Thank you. Caller on the line, go ahead. Call your name, where you calling from, and your vote.
I'm Edward Bobo, calling from Minnesota. Nyamdi Kanga Lawrence.
Nyamdi Kanga Lawrence. Caller on the line, call your name, where you calling from, and make your vote.
My name is Professor. I'm calling from Houston, Texas. Jeremiah Coon.
Jeremiah Coon. Thank you. Guys, y'all go ahead. Where'd you Paul going again?
Maybe Juba.
My network is cracking.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello, Josie Ma, Kansas City, Jeremiah Kwakun.
Okay.
You gotta stay on because Steve already crying say because you're not on our Coon or taking the vote, so you gotta stay on.
But your body lying, bro.
Allow you. Don't allow me. I beg you. Y'all got caught?
Yeah, so 0770. That's 077804366. Is 077047219. 0770013667. 0886677281 and plus 14016888266. So those are the numbers tonight if you just join the program. So I'll call from my end tonight.
The line is freezing.
Yeah, the network is bad. Network bad for my.
Let me take some call while I go blocking. Follow up, you gotta stop listening to the monitor. Just listen to the phone.
Okay. Sorry about that. How are you doing?
Yes, quickly, where you calling for your name and your vote?
I'm calling from the Twin City, Minnesota. So who do we have on the ballot there? Who are there? Who
No, we got anybody on the ballot. You will tell us who you want JMB to choose as a running back. We ain't got no option for you.
Okay. I tell my boy, our leader, Eric Costa.
Eric Costa, thank you. Before you got call, go ahead. Before going off again.
Yeah, the network terrible.
Daniel, what happened to you on the call? You muted, Daniel.
Your name and where you call from?
I come from Buchanan, Grand Bassa County.
Your candidate.
Jeremiah Bankun.
Thank you.
Abraham Bazapu be voting for Jeremiah Malcolm.
Hello, caller.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Terry W. Usually calling from Kanta, Nima Kanta, to be precise to where you junction.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Councillor Tiawanse Gonglo will be the best person.
Thank you.
Gonglo.
Caller, your name and where you call from?
My name is Dalinto Gugano Kais.
Caller, are you there? We lost that caller.
Oh, let me take the vote quick. Caller on the line, call your name, where you calling from, and do your vote.
Moses Otero Kokoi from Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes. Nyambli Kanga Lawrence. Thank you. Jibo, go ahead.
Please go ahead. What's the name where you're calling us from? Andrew, please go ahead, Andrew.
Jeremiah Bankun.
Jeremiah Bankun is good. Please go ahead, Chief.
Hello.
Go ahead, ma'am. You're live on the program.
I'm Hawaii Guru calling from ERW.
It's good to have you.
Jeremiah Bankun.
Jeremiah Bankun. Thank you so much, Chief. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So,
you got a call?
No.
Let me take your vote. Caller on the line, your name, where you calling from, and then your vote.
Yeah, my name is Nani, and my candidate is Tiawon Gonglo.
Tiawon Gonglo. Caller on the line, your name, where you calling from, and your vote.
I'm Daniel Yama, and I'm calling from Minneapolis. Nyambli Kanga Lawrence.
Nyambli Kanga Lawrence. Y'all go ahead, guys, if you have call.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, you're live on the program. Please go ahead.
Yeah. My name is, what you doing? I vote for Nyambli.
Nyambli Kanga Lawrence. Thank you, Chief. Thank you.
Hello, are you there? Your name and where you call from?
I'm Mohamed Agwan from Kanta, Nima Kanta.
Go ahead.
Jeremiah Bankun.
Thank you. Chipo, you got a call?
This person dropped the line just now. So 887-04-3660, 887-04-3660, 770-47-2019, 077-047-2019, 070-01-3667, 886-67-72-81, 886-67-72-81, plus 1401-688-8266. So those are the numbers this evening to put you through on the Class Reloaded.
Okay, let me take your vote quick. Call up your name, where you calling from, and your vote.
Yeah, I'm Peter calling from Rochester, USA.
Your vote.
Mother Lawrence.
Nyambli Kanga Lawrence. Thank you. Go ahead, Jibo.
Go ahead, caller. You're live on the program. Thank you so very kindly. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, live on the program. Please go ahead. Jeremiah Bankun. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, my name is Lawrence Josh calling from Kanda City.
And who's your preferment? Go ahead.
Jeremiah Bankun.
Jeremiah Bankun.
Caller from the US, go ahead. Where you calling from, your vote?
Yeah, my name is Regina Doe. I'm calling from Maryland, USA. Jeremiah Kun.
Jeremiah Kun, thank you. Go ahead, Jibo.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead. Jeremiah Bankun. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's up?
You're live on the program. Please go ahead.
My name is Casey, but I'm calling for Kanta.
Jeremiah Kun. Go ahead, caller. Hello?
Hello?
You're live on the program. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Manuel Toba from Kanta, Jeremiah Kun.
Jeremiah Kun. Okay. Go ahead, go. Hello. Ganta is in the lead. Hello.
Still, you have a radio station carrying a show in Uganda?
Yeah, Radio Papa.
Oh, okay, that's it. Daniel
please go ahead,
Daniel go for Radio Dubai also is suffering the consequence.
Yeah, we're having a program. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Orlando calling from Lima.
Oh, go ahead, Chief.
Yeah,
Nyamli Kanga Lawrence. It's good having you from Nimba. Let's get this person. Hello.
Hello.
You're live on the program. Please go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Albert Johnson. I'm calling from Tampa. I'm trying to take compound city. I've voted Nyamli Kanga Lawrence.
Nyamli Kanga Lawrence.
Let me tell you one question, Bob. Just the one. Call on the line, go ahead, your name and your vote.
Yeah, I'm Tavis Batu calling from Pennsylvania, Nyamli Kanga Lawrence.
Nyamli Kanga Lawrence. Jubal, go ahead.
You're live on the program, caller. Go ahead.
Brother Rocky Wilson, GM calling from Ghana. Excellent to you. I present Nyamli Kanga Lawrence.
Nyamli Kanga Lawrence, your preferment. Go ahead.
Nyamli Kanga Lawrence.
And what's your name? Jeremiah Francis from Grand Bassa County. Go ahead, caller.
What is it?
You live on the program, and who would you prefer to be the vice running mate to Joseph Boakai?
Thank you. My name is Prefer. Don't be busy. I do prefer Jeremiah Pankun. Thank you.
Jeremiah Pankun. Go ahead, caller. And who's your Nyamli Kanga Lawrence, your preferment? Go ahead, caller. Hello. Good evening. Wow, the line is jammed. Hello.
Hello.
You live on the program. Please turn down the monitor and tell us who your preferment. Your name? Sema. And where you calling us? But what means you get in the program in Suwaju, Chief? Oh, okay, thank you. Go ahead, caller. Hello. Oh my word, we lost that person. So Chief, yeah, you can.
No, I don't have a call now. I said Daniel get call. I don't have a call now. Daniel, what happened to your colors?
So let me take this person since.
Yeah, go ahead. Once you get call, you take it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, caller. You say your name?
St. James from Keita Oro.
Okay. You can call him. Okay. Hello, caller.
Hello, this is Samson Mare.
Yeah, Kennedy.
Samson Mare calling from Bikama Kennedy. Saying Nyamli Kanga Lawrence.
Thank you.
Let me tell you one quick. Caller, go ahead.
Jeremiah Gobaba from Minnesota.
Yeah, you're Kennedy. Nyamli Kanga Lawrence. Guys, you go ahead.
Caller, you there? Hello, caller. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there?
Caller, not there. Let me take the one quick. Caller, go ahead.
Why are the land freezing? Yeah.
Desmond from Minnesota, Nyamli Kanga Lawrence.
Nyamli Kanga Lawrence.
Caller, are you there?
Hello.
Your name and where you call from?
Yeah, my name is Rahma. I do join from Kansas City, Nimakande.
Go ahead, Raul.
Senator Jeremiah Pankun.
Thank you. Chuba Yako?
Yeah, before you, I come in Juba 1 minute before you take that call. Let me address somebody here.
James Kamaka, Majuli Kanti Kakata, to the Yoli Kanga Lawrence.
Thank you.
Yeah, what did you want to deal with somebody? Vivian Isma. You know, some of you people, sometimes we just want to play a blank R to A, but you're always in the habit of trying to play with people's integrity. Maybe because you're saying get one. So you're thinking everybody like you. When you say this so-called pool is very biased or not fair, what do you mean? Call the numbers are here. Don't just text here. Call the number and explain to us what you mean by bias. If you support a candidate and you're not hearing a candidate name, that means they show bias. They got to stop those things in our country. Don't question everybody's integrity. Nothing is ever fair to you. How are you going to the 2023 election when nothing is ever fair? What bias about what's going on here? Your number in your phone. All the people are calling the American number, they are taking any of them. Once they call the number, I pick. You call and vote your candidate instead of writing things that is biased. What can you explain to us what you mean by that? You both go ahead, man.
Yeah, Belgian PR, those kind of people, they will always be around like that. Yeah. Especially every little thing. It's a fun.
You're having a program, Chief. Go ahead. Sorry, now. No, what's your name, please?
I cannot do it.
It's good having you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Call up. Oh, call. Yeah, you got one?
Zero 077-0436-60-077-047-2019, 077-047-2019, 077-001-3667, 077-001-3667, 086-67-78-20.
Let me tell you one question before call go ahead. Hello? Okay, I lost that caller. You can go ahead.
Yeah, so I was announcing the number so people in the radio link can actually get it again. 0887-043660, 077-047-2019, 077-001-3667, 086-67-7282, and plus 14016888266 are the numbers. Go ahead.
Hello.
You're having a program, Chief. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. Okay. Hello.
Hello, yes, Chris,
Chris, thank you so much. Jeremiah Pampun. Please turn down your monitor. What's the name? Where are you calling us from? Okay. Hello. Please turn down your monitor. What's the name? Where are you calling us from tonight? Okay, I don't know what's happening. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
You're having a program. Please go ahead. What's your name? Where are you calling us from tonight?
I'm just telling my own is the hotel of the True Summer to send my phone. Calling from that.
Choose some. Please go ahead.
Okay. I prefer Jeremiah Pampun.
Jeremiah Pampun. Thank you. Hello. Hello. Carter. You live on the program. Please go ahead, Chief.
What is it?
You live on the program. Please go ahead.
What is it?
You are live. Please go ahead, Chief.
What is it?
Sorry. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
My name is Junior Christian from the Kanga Lawrence.
Bon County, Nyambli Kanga Lawrence. Thank you. Hello.
Yes.
You live in the program. Go ahead.
Nyambli Kanga Lawrence.
James, thank you so very kindly for your participation. We appreciate. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
we are doing great on the program. What's the name? Where you calling us from tonight?
My name is Luke Kanoa. I call you from the
Jeremiah Pankun. Thank you so very kindly, Chief. We do appreciate. Thank you. You having a program?
Yeah.
You having a program?
Senator Lawrence.
Senator Lawrence. Nyomli Kanga Lawrence. Thank you.
The thing you want, Jupo. Go ahead. Your name, where you calling from, and your vote.
This is Timothy. I'm calling from the state of Washington, America. I choose Jeremiah because I feel
we want to know your reasoning. That's okay. Jeremiah Pankun.
Senator Lawrence. Nothing can Lawrence.
Go ahead, Jupo.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
You're having a program.
It's just start with right?
You're live on the class below that. Go ahead, Chief.
Okay, speaking to you, that's what I did. Go
ahead.
The solution is
Jeremiah Pankun. Thank you. I get it. Go ahead. Jeremiah Pankun. Thank you, Chief. Go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead.
This is Pastor Bill Saying we're speaking from Kanta Minakati.
Okay.
Nyomli
Kanga Lawrence.
Yeah.
Thank you so very kindly, Chief. So, Chief, yeah,
let's take 5 more because I gotta do the tally. Then while you'll be discussing small, then we can wrap up.
Yeah, Jupo, go ahead. I don't have calls, so if you
let's take 5 more calls.
Okay, call on the line, please go ahead. Hello. Caller on the line, please go ahead. Hello.
I got a call. Jupo, I got a call. Hello, caller.
Yeah.
Caller, your name and where you call from? Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, Jeremiah Pankun.
Thank you. Caller, your name?
My name is Moses Jesus. I do come up and the phone country.
Okay, who your candidate?
Senator Nyomli Kanga Lawrence.
Thank you. Hello, caller.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
And classic okay for Toyota.
From where?
Toyota. Phone country.
Who your candidate?
Jeremiah Pankun.
Thank you. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Your name and where you call from?
Stevie, no, you will not have 5 because one man can take all the 5. So you will not have 5.
I'm calling from Makati.
Okay.
I'm calling from Makati, Cinco, Jeremiah Pankun.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Come on, go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, this is Tegonti T.
Yeah, go ahead.
From Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nyomli Kanga.
Nyomli Kanga, thank you. Jupo, go ahead.
Go ahead, caller, live in the program.
Hello, this is Solomon FB calling from Instagram as a contact.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Senator Lawrence.
Nyomli Kanga Lawrence. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Go ahead. You live on the class below that.
Is it Joseph Ware from Lupa County, and I do vote for Senator Nyomli Kanga Lawrence of Grand Bassa County.
Your points are well taken. Please go ahead, caller. Hello.
Hello.
Live in the program. Go ahead. From Ganta. So let me take this person to be my last caller for the night. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Hello.
Go ahead. You're my last caller for tonight. Please go ahead.
Yeah, the National Senator Jeremiah Pankun. I'm calling from Ganta.
Mr. Soba, thank you so much.
All right.
Huh? He said Kun, right?
Yeah, Jeremiah.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
So guys, you just be talking while I do the tally. Interesting conversation. You look at the pattern where the votes coming from. Jeremiah Kun, mostly Nima County. I see Senator Yombly is cross-cutting in most part of the country, Bassa, Lofa, other places. But let me do the tally here and then I'll refer.
So Daniel, while we're waiting for Stephen, I'm not a member of the Liberty Party, even though I come from Bassa. But it is an open secret that I say I support Nyambli Kanga Lawrence. It's for all of you, Jerry, including as well. So can you guys help me to point out any act of bias from the panel during this section?
Well, I think the geographical outlook of the course says it all. You see, majority of the callers who call for Nima County put in their support for, register their support for Senator Kun, which is obvious. But interestingly, we received some calls from Bong, Margibi, Mosurado County, and Grand Bassa, and you see those people registering their support for Senator Nyambli Kanga Lawrence. For me, I think it is the recognition beyond county, because you see Kun largely being supported by people from Nima, which is obvious. But then when you look at the broader outlook of the callers who call from other counties, they register their support for Senator Lawrence. And one thing you also have to realize that the technical fault in Grand Bassa County, which caused the show not to be aired tonight, limited the participation of supporters of the Liberty Party, thereby giving people from Ganta, because the show is being aired on the Voice of Gompa. So, I mean, there's no bias. I think it just...
the results are in.
Yeah, Stephen, you're way small. Because the thing is, let's look at Jupor, for example. Jupor is in Bong County, and Jupor is on premium. The people in Bong County listen to the show, but did that make them to say they want Prince Moe?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So the thing is, the point I was trying to make is that, and you made that point from the beginning, Daniel. As somebody who could be a more marketable candidate got to cut across. So the fact that the quote-unquote Wedo Dugba not being on, which is a concern to some of Nyambli supporters, did not stop the fact that the only two persons who named were all on the team was she and Jeremiah Mankun. Not anybody else who we know is a contender. And for example, then you jokingly said, hey, you are from Liberty Party, you are a strong Nyambli supporter, your number is being used.
Sure.
And so when somebody see even Daniel Sano, who works in Nyambli Kanga office, the one who taking the call, and only on a kind of Basel station, not on you questioning people's integrity that the show is biased, I think it says a lot. And that's the same thing we do after the general election. We not do what we're supposed to do when the result comes. Whether it is real or not, we start crying wolf all over the place, but then it's late. You remember when Bronski were alive, you went to the court, then you know what the Supreme Court told you?
Yeah.
So just pay attention to what they're supposed to do instead of always questioning people. For them, things are always not fair. Somebody is involved in criminality, somebody is not fair, somebody is biased. That kind of concept takes us nowhere. But anyway, Stephen said the result ready, so let us not waste.
I think for me, I do not see any bias. Because nobody get anybody number.
Stephen, yeah, now they will come back to you, then you.
Yeah, mute a little bit. Daniel, please mute. All right, good. So the results are in. And let's just announce a few things that we did not select specific names for people to choose from. The people themselves called their names. Who they announced that, who do you prefer? That's the question they sought to answer. who they prefer as the running mate for Joseph Boakai ahead of his pick for vice president. We had a total of 94 callers. Call from majority from most of the caller came from Nima County. Some of them Monrovia, Bassa, Maryland, Grand Chide, and Bond County. But the majority came from Nimba County. We had, as I announced, a total of 94 votes. Yake Koluba got 1. Costa, Henry Pedro Costa got 1. Abraham Darius DeLong got 1. Tewon Se Gonglu got 3 votes. 3. Jeremiah Kun 42. Jeremiah Kun 42 and Yombli Kanga 46. So Yombli has 46, Jeremiah Kun has 42, Tewon 3, DeLong 1, Costa 1, Yeke 1, total of 94 votes. So that's the total vote for the night. So it's interesting, even with Radio Duba being off, as Daniel was indicating, Yombli stay pulled. But one of the things I noticed about Yombli's vote is she's heavily favored in the diaspora. Most of the diaspora caller sway her way, and the interesting part about that is diaspora people have stronger influence locally in terms of the economics because they control a lot of people pockets, so they are more influential voters. Even if they're not voting physically, they have strong influence. The second thing is there's a pattern in Nima County from the vote. We see that Nima County, most of those who call from Ganta, where we have Radio Gompa. Most of the caller, about 98% of the caller from Ganta, Nima County, favored Jeremiah Kun. It shows a pattern over there.
Me Jupo are getting bad feedback.
It's PI, not Jupo. Yeah. Majority of the votes from Nimba County came from Ganta. About 99% of it favored Jeremiah Kun. There were about maybe 1% in Bassa favor Kun. Senator Yombli Kanga vote came from a cross section, Monserrado, Nimba, Bonk, Lofa, and the diaspora, including Monserrado. So it shows the fluidity in terms of where it's coming from. In terms of Jeremiah Kun, it shows that he's strong in Ganta, Nimba. But there are other interesting things here. Many persons, you still see now that this race for VP is tilting between two candidates, as Pia said. It shows that the race is tilting between Kun and Yombli. Very interesting. But one of the things we should also do at these polls, even though they are not scientific enough, there's a possibility that somebody could use different name and talk and vote twice or vote even 3-4 times. If you look at the percentage of error in these things and you try to deflect those numbers, you still see that the selection for Joseph Boakai is swinging between his selection is swinging between Yombli and Kun. That's an interesting thing. Now, another thing we should also pay particular attention to is the strength of these candidates. One candidate seems to be more stronger in their home. We could not assess that in Bassa tonight because the radio line, the phone lines are not open. I wanted to see what will happen eventually in Bassa if the line was open there. I wanted to see how this result will have tilted. Now, for the fact that Ganta line was open and most of the callers call from Ganta, and yet and still Senator Yombli is in the race, it places her in a better position in terms of aggregate support. I wanted to see how much of a strength she will have, how we had the Bassa poll open. That way we'll know exactly what was happening in Bassa. But be that as it may, these are the elections, these are the results. 94 voters, 46 Yombli, 42 Jeremiah Kun, DeLong 1, Costa 1, Yeke 1. And another interesting thing, Pia, we have to pay attention to is the last poll we did Jeremiah Kuhn was somewhere around 2-3 votes. The last time we did the poll, Jeremiah Kuhn was somewhere around 2-3 votes, maximum 3-4. Between the last poll and today, we see over 300-400% plus increment in that number, or more than that. We see a big leap for him in the last few months. One of the things we also need to do here is to also look at future polls where we'll now announce it as we did tonight. We just come on abruptly so that people can have prepared their people for it and just announce and open the line, maybe do it for the entire show, 3 hours. That way we'll collect a huge sample space so that we can be able to do more comprehensive analysis, look at the number, look at the trend, let people call the county they're calling from, the area they're calling from, so that we can see the trend and where they're calling from. But those are the numbers we have for the night.
So many things, and I think it's good the way the polls went, and we keep it like that. Because for me, all the excuses don't hold any water, because when we had the many polls before, Radio Dupa was on, we're still coming from Ganta, but like you said, Jeremiah Kuhn had, I think, 1, 2, or 3 votes. Even though the same Ganta station was on, variables can change. Perhaps the situation then is not the same as now. So that's the reason why you now see that rather than the 1 or 2 votes he had before, he's where he is. 2, when we had the other polls in the past, we had Dupa on, which of course in Grand Bassa, you expect to favor Jubilee. We had D15, which is a station owned and run by Jubilee. And nobody was complaining to say, because we just got 2 stations of Jubilee, this, that means the thing buyer, this, that. So my thing is, even if you didn't have their station, the people that are taking part are still a reflection of Liberians and as to what they think. And secondly, the result of this is not necessarily what Joseph Boakai going to do. Joseph Boakai could just pay no attention to any pool from anywhere, whether class reloaded or from where, and just go and do what he wants to do. But poolings are necessary, because it gets a view of what the people are thinking. It fully becomes the choice of the leader to decide what they want, whether there was pool or not. I mean, I don't remember, because we're not too active engaged. I'm not sure there was any pool in 2017 where it was mentioned that Nokwe would be a better choice. But eventually he was Joseph Boakai's choice. So yeah, the people are thinking, they say what they want. In the end, the choice is JMB. But we just thought to do this unannounced. And when we decided to do it unannounced, we didn't do it unannounced knowing that Radio Dupa will not be on today. We don't know. And was D15 on, Daniel? Daniel Sano, was D15 on?
I'm listening. I'm not listening to D15 now, so I can't tell what are on that. But I sure once they didn't complete it, me is on.
Yeah. So if D15 was on, Radio Gompa was on, Premier in Banga was on. I think it was a reflection of.
No, but I think the point about because you try to look at the trend of the vote, the voting pattern. Like Stephen said, you see majority of the votes that came in for Kuhn coming from one place in the map, Ganta City, right? So the reason I account for that is because a radio station in Ganta is airing the show. So that all we're saying, we're not saying it's an excuse.
No, but that's a point I made from the beginning. So when we had the other shows, I think we had 3 pools here. When Jeremiah Kuhn had 1, 2, 3 votes, the same station was on. So it's not just about which station is on. There are factors that are responsible, for example, as to why the people. So, for example, when we had those 4 pools, everybody thought it was automatic. One comment was already a question. Everybody thought it was automatic that a ticket will be JMB, Nyambli Kanga Lauren ticket. In between that time to now, people hearing names. People hearing Jeremiah Kuhn. People hearing Henry Costa, for example.
Right?
Yeah, but Jerry, you can say why you want to say if you go in before them, say who will be here, we're close. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, yes. I mean, it was a wonderful show. For me, I would like to say to those, all of us here on this platform do not have final decision. So there's nothing we can do. If you even think that somebody is buyer, it is JMB decision. All we should do right now, as we encourage our political leader, is going to come up with a very good decision that favor his philosophy or in line with his philosophy. Because it is not about him. It's about who he will live with us when he's leaving. Because after his first term, the president, if the president is, have all of the characteristics, will be moving forward. So, I mean, it's a wonderful stuff. Let's keep our finger crossed. We know that JMB is a very, very intelligent and experienced public servant. He's going to, make a very sound decision. We encourage our people to register and vote, no matter how difficult it is. The line, I know there are a lot of areas, listen to other people complaining that, oh, when you go on the line, the people can be on the phone acting that they don't want to register you. We beg you, the only way we can rescue our country is to register and vote. Even if you are not decided that you will vote, go register first. When time comes, you will register, because we know that we have to take this criminal from our country. These people have looted our country, and we cannot give them the next 6 years. Thank you ever so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
Be safe out there, man, Jerry. We'll see you on Friday.
Go do your hustle, Pelican Governor. Thank you for sacrificing your time here. From there, no rest.
Thank you,
Jerry, for your hustle.
We'll hope to see you on Friday, God's willing. But guys, as I was saying, when you look at these numbers, it's a men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. If you look at these numbers, they speak a lot of languages in these numbers. One of the things you observe, as I indicated earlier, is that leap. Is that politics is momentum. Politics is timing, is momentum. You see, Jeremiah Kun, who the last time we did this show had 3-4 votes. You see now that in the last 2 months, the variable are changing. You see that leap. You see him making that huge leap from 2-3 vote to way around 40. That's a huge leap. It shows that trends and politics and trends in politics, timing, momentum, all happening. Also, with the fact that we could not get Basso on the call, and Senator Yombi Kanga still pulling strength across the country, including the diaspora, shows fluidity in her support, how people from different parts of the globe support her. And another thing I like to point out is I see somebody telling me that Tiamon telling me Jeremiah couldn't support. Yeah, Jeremiah got some pockets of votes from other places, but about 95% of his vote came from Nima County, Ganta, that we in Ganta. So the way we will do this is we'll run these polls, we'll run them from time to time up until the final nomination is made, so that we can just hear from our people. We have no specific interest in these numbers. We don't know who called. We don't have that number. They call random people, and interestingly, if somebody thought that even Daniel wanted to tailor the call, you notice that all the people who called Daniel full call for Ganta and voted against his Steno Barrow. That's the funny thing. That's how somebody say they were biased. I was funny. I was laughing. That's how I was laughing.
I could have deliberately ignored the cause, but I mean, I was under obligation to do.
5% of the call on Daniel's phone came from Ganta.
And Stephen, all those people, those particular persons who were talking about bias, was purely on account where they believe that we were against Yombi Kanga Lawrence. I don't know how that could work. But you on record that you prefer Yombi. I'm on record. Daniel is already a part of Yombi party. So I think anybody's going to be complaining here about bias is supposed to be Jeremiah Kun people, rather than trying to accuse people who are opening on record for supporting Yombi.
We're not cheating anybody. We'll be not cheating nobody. We'll be as transparent as we can
though what we say, why we gather here will be why we inform Joseph Boakai decision. How can we cheat on something that we don't know whether Joseph Boakai will even listen to?
Yeah, it's not the final decision for Boakai. The decision to selecting running mate live in GMBs. Yeah.
Character and repetition.
So talking about
for some of us, some I would say don't pay attention to everything, but no. One thing that I don't know is when somebody tried to put my repetition and integrity under question, I will not close my eye to it because
and let's announce the support. We told the people here, we came here on Monday, we told you that we're trying to expand the class. We want to cover some other radio stations in other parts of the country. We're appealing to you all for support. If that's $10, $15, $20, $30, as much as you can afford will help us to expand our broadcast. We want to do a lot. We want to reach a lot of places ahead of October. The class has no sponsor like other radio stations that have sponsors. The class is being sponsored by all of us here. We put our meager resources together. I'd like to say thanks to people like Senator Lawrence.
A person sent $100 today, Stephen, but they have no interest in having their name called for any contribution. They warn me that they're doing it because they want to help. They don't want any glory. They don't want us to call their name here. They will do as much as they can do all of the time, but they never ever want their name to be mentioned that they're giving contribution.
Thank you to that anonymous giver. We pray that God will bless you. Let's keep this going. Let's keep it going. And to all of our followers, our supporters, classmates, we appreciate you coming here, taking up time from your busy schedule to follow the show. Somebody want me to pin the number. Let me see if I can get it.
But Daniel, how a beating, right?
Yeah, but you see, I knew from the beginning that the calls were coming one way in, and the fact that majority of Kun supporters were only calling from Ganta City tells me that his support base is centralized. And I knew for a fact that Senator Laurent, with no disrespect to Kun, she's a much more recognizable brand outside of Grand Bassa County. You saw that in the number of calls that came in from the diaspora, from Bon County, from Margibi, and even Moserado County. And I've always said to people that the election is not like county meet.
1 minute, Daniel. Stephen, is also good to say that number is also for sale, not just cash out. Because not everybody using cash out.
Let me edit it.
The election,
go ahead, Daniel.
The election is not about county meet, where because the man from my country, I will go stand behind him. You need that political brand that extends to other political subdivision to
Megan to all. Before you got throw bomb here.
Yeah, so that's a good thing about the pool. So now the results are out. We already know.
Yeah, let the numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah, the numbers will speak for themselves, yeah. Somehow not beauty, yeah.
Exactly. Let the numbers speak for themselves because Megan to all.
Yeah, let numbers speak for themselves. The people get it saying, they say men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. People lie, but number can lie. So, that just as the number of Clarence Smith, I'm calling out purposely, I'll contribute to this stuff here, my man. CK Smith, my man, I see in the live, I'm calling up purposely, you got to contribute here, my man. We need a contribution. I'll ask Pierre purposely for
So Steve, all the
Momo sending money. Momo, I got to see your contribution here.
Stephen, all the polling we've been doing here on this show have been unannounced, right? Or did we announce some?
No, we've never announced no poll here. We just come on, just see.
Yeah, so unannounced things are always good. Nobody can plan for it. Nobody can plot for it. Yeah. It's always good to do things unannounced. And one reason why we did this today is from all indications from signals that we're getting, JMB is not far from naming his running mate. And we just wanted to call his attention again to the thinking of his supporters out. And that's why we did that, but absolutely he's under no obligation to do what these people think. The choice is his. The election is his to win. And he can make the necessary decisions taking him to that election. That's fine with us. But we play a role, so one of the things we can do is to sometimes hear the people where they stand, the people who support you, what do they think about what they want your team to be like, especially from that top 2 perspective. So that's all we're doing, but absolutely no obligation. You can do something far away from that bracket, and it's just fine with us. It's your decision to make.
Chupo, the message you leave mobile money number in lab. You send your number to Patrick Batty.
Yeah, somebody came in my inbox and said they wanted a number to support the show. I think
Daniel, those of you people in Liberia, if it is possible, people can send through your same way and mobile money you're giving.
I need an authorization. I couldn't go send my private number to the person.
No, you can collect it.
So I will send my number to that person because the same message said they wanted to support the show from here. I will send her my number.
Yeah. Good, thank you. Yeah, my man, we need to get this thing going. I think, guys, it was a great show. We got 10 minutes to go. Let's wrap this thing up. I'll call everybody all that I see it. The Deconti team, you got to support Benjamin. I say watching Kingdom from UK. Benjamin, you got to make a contribution, man. I know UK, you ain't get or cash out, you get PayPal. So we'll get a PayPal number, email, so you can contribute. Let me see.
If I was from Grand Gita and I was a target for the fellowship.
Our Mesga, you got to contribute. All of you. Tene Kopo. Valerie Kendi, all of you. I'll be calling all of you out. You gotta contribute. Hawa Mesga, Tekonti, Tene, all of you. Father, Tena, you got to let get this thing going. Talking about how Neil.
I was saying, why if I was from Grand Gita, no radio station in Grand Gita carrying the show? Was anything going to be unfair to me? I don't think so.
No. And somebody call from Grand Gita.
Exactly. But the point I'm making is that you don't necessarily have to need a radio station from your county to be the basis of you winning a pool or you being considered. Yeah, so that I don't know how that.
Because that will also mean that most people in Bon County will have tilted towards
Prince Moy.
Or Prince.
Yeah.
Moy.
Yeah.
Lopu Zika, I see you. You gotta send something for the class. That phone when you send out for that for the man. You Lopu, you gotta send something that number there. Lopu Zika, all of you. Carlo, talk about I'll send my contribution soon I went.
You gotta pay all your attention to, I know you say what opposition defense force for Yeke.
Send something soon.
It's good to think about.
ODF, opposition defense force.
Yeah, it's good to think about Yeke. And the other day at this TV, we had Yeke number, but we don't want to just, because he's a targeted person, we don't just want to display his number like that. Yeah. So if any of you got in mind that you want to do something for Yeke, just ask Steven or reach out to me. We'll privately send it to you, then you can send something to Yeke. But it's risky to just put a man number in the public for anybody to get it, especially the way he's targeted. So we have Yeke number, and once you want to support Yeke getting our inboxes, we'll give it to you. And whatever you send will go directly to Yeke on mobile money. Yeke needs it because you got all the boys trying to protect him. He feed them, he's doing this. It's not easy. Yeke needs your help. We can leave America and go in District 10 to vote, but your 1 cent, 2 cents can help Yeke to stand up to those talks who trying to harass him every day.
Yeah, man. So guys, that wrap up, man. Daniel, Chupo, it's been a great show so far. Yeah, Gustav, my man. If I get a time, I'll go through the online, but I get a time to go recommend or do analysis. Maybe what we'll do was set up the online polls and see what
Steven,
yeah, let's wrap up, guys. We gotta go. Guys, 7 minutes.
Can I conclude? Because I got a journal conference call already.
Yeah, sure.
So as we draw closer to the campaign, even though JMB has not set up his campaign structure yet, but I want to encourage our friends from the Unity Party to frequently make use of this platform. The things we do here, they are not better than us. They're not more basic than us. I think the fact that the Unity Party has a standard bearer in this election, and some of us have thrown in our support to say we'll do everything we can to make sure JMB is elected president. It doesn't augur well for the campaign to see us here every night, 3 times a week, and we cannot be joined by them. I mean, they have to come to motivate their own supporters. We talk about sharing the show every day. The Unity Party has a lot of supporters out there. And if they see that people here, the support base will be, motivated as well. And, I think they wouldn't have come here. The class reloaded as we all seek the support to expand the platform. You see the other men, government spending money all over. We got our own platform. We have to make the best out of it. The effort to expand the platform, once we reach the 6 major counties or even as many counties as we can reach, this is going to be one of the most reliable platforms, before the campaign. So they have to come here and make maximum use of the platform. Amos has been doing well, but I will encourage other members of the party to come here frequently. As always, Stephen, I think it's a very good thing to come here. The interaction here has been very helpful. As we look forward to JMB to name his running mate, we are not going to relent. We're going to be engaged in the issues. Along the way, we are hoping that this platform can be the best of what it was intended to be, and that the efforts all of us are making here is to make sure that the platform becomes the biggest, if not the best, ahead of the campaign. So I know we've come to the end of today's show. We look forward to being here again on Friday. Now, Mr. Philip Swire, who is the former Liberty Party USA chairman, has requested to join us on Friday. So with the approval of the team here, we can have Mr. Philip Swire to go into some Liberty Party issues. Philip Swire is a very knowledgeable person, so that we can get the conversation going.
And Philip was here the other day?
Yes, he was here. He's a smart
guy. We can have Philip. Philip is a smart guy.
Yes. So I'm also encouraging him to be regular on this platform so that we can.
That would be very excellent.
Yeah, because he told me that he got some time available now, so he can be here maybe 2 or 1 time.
I saw your other staunch partisan, class A, beginning April 5th. You will be 1,000% regular now.
Well, we hope to have Clark. Clark is very excellent, and at least that will relieve me of the breading that I have to come here 3 times a week.
No, when Clark can't mean you running away. You are Muji. You can't run away.
I can't run away. The thing is, just to conclude, right? When I went out, when we began the show and I went out for 1 month, I was kind of embarrassed. I said, yeah, we just started something, and then all of a sudden I'm out of the platform. So I had to make some adjustment. But it's good to be back here, and we look forward to making the show the best it can be for the betterment of our country. I think the need to kick we out of power is getting more compelling by the day. And at the level of support from our people in the communities. Steve, I'm not hearing you.
That should be doing something. That man doing something else. You're not. Are you he talking to?
No. I'll mute it. Chupo, go ahead.
Daniel, I want to say something before you go. So just wait what Chupo feel. Let me close where you go.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, so I just want to tell everyone thank you. We had tons of support tonight, and just want to say thanks to everyone. It's good being with the team. We look forward to being with the team always. So good night from my end, and I guess good afternoon from your end as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Pia.
Yeah. So let me clear Daniel part that he go. Then I would to do what I wanted to say, and for which I wanted Daniel to be on. You see, somebody like Steven and I, we are members of the Unity Party. We are not just followers of Joseph Boakai. We are institutional people. And our support for Joseph Boakai hinge on a number of things. First and foremost, of course, will be that we believe he's qualified, he's competent, he can do the job. But at the same time, it is also because he's the stand-up bearer of our party. So we try to do whatever we can to help our party. Unlike people like Daniel Sando, Clark Tumbe, and there are folks who got no link with the UP, but who have demonstrated real commitment to Ambassador Boakai. And at the top of that ladder is Senator Nyombli Kanga Lawrence. I hold a number of conversations with Nyombli. We talk. And Nyombli has been consistent in telling me that if Joseph Boakai believes that she can stand by him, she'll be gracious enough. But that she did not come into this because she wanted to be vice president. And I think that's the kind of attitude that we're supposed to bring to the things we do targeted at our country. Because you see, when you come with different motives, for example, if Nyombli basis of coming, standing by Joseph Boakai just because of wanting to be stand-up bearer or vice stand-up bearer, of course, then you accept on that stage, you were not chosen. If Daniel Sano and others came because they only wanted Nyombli or Liberty Party to be stand-up bearer, with all the uncertainty that have been existing, all the different changes along the way that have been coming, you would not have Daniel Sano then yet. The year because I believe they have a commitment to the cause of our country. And I wanted to just thank him. Nobody knows why Nyombli passes through to keep G15 on, to do their normal thing, but to carry the show as well. Nobody knows why she passes through to get Radio Dupa staying on late hours to carry the show. Nobody knows why they're passing through now, she and Senator Dillon, to try to expand the program. You heard Dillon announcing on the show the other day they're trying to add, I think, 4 or how many more radio stations. There's a commitment that they've all come with. Don't forget that the Class Reloaded was a major initiative of Senator Dillon. That's why Stevie and others call him the principal, even though he's not coming on because he's busy with other issues, but he's still committed to the show, trying to expand it and all these kinds of things. And it's just good to motivate them, to thank them for that commitment, and that we call on our colleagues who own the stand-up bearer, who are Unity partisans, who started this project, and those who did not start but got the capacity to be here, to see the example of these fellows and stand up for their own. JMB is their own, is their party's candidate. If the guys from the other side doing it, nothing stop we who are Unity partisans from also doing it. And if we're plenty, it's better. Every day you gotta be Stevie and Pierre, because if Stevie doesn't show up, Pierre doesn't show up, Daniel and Luke making the show is there. But if we have all the other strong guys for the Unity Party, the day Stevie now on, nobody even shaking. Because strong people standing in the gap to carry the show on. The day Pierre doesn't come with the same thing, strong people standing in the gap to carry the show on. But to just throw it at us, somebody like me, I was never a part of it when he was playing. I didn't know what they playing, what they decided. Stevie just invited me 1,000 man. We can't have people that you will do anything, you're not there, come. And I told Stevie, say, okay, man, once in a while we'll show face. Stevie said, no, man. You're one of the people with the on UP, you're not showing no face. You put your face here, you remain here every day. No plan. I didn't plan it. But when Stephen threw that challenge to me, and I think about where our country is, yeah, my ears talk. So Daniel, that's why I wanted you to stay on. Thank you for all that you guys do. Don't give up. I hope Senator Lauren herself will not get, she's here. In fact, I hope that we can have some conversations before she goes back. No time to give up now. No turning back. The Rubicon is crossed, and we have to keep moving. Young Jupor, I can't stop praising you enough. That's why most of the time when we can come, I make some noise for people to take care of you, because young man, just a high school student, you're sitting here helping us, doing a great job. Keep it all. In fact, you're selling yourself, you're modeling yourself. That's how people can become great and big time journalists. I'm sure the popularity you have gotten since you got on the show far bigger than some of the big names in media. But you might not swallow your head. Just keep cool, keep humble, and just be a modest guy. You know, and like the Bible says, they say what? The child who watches his hands can eat with kings and queens, and that could be your portion. Thank you, Stephen. It was a wonderful show.
Yeah, thank you, Pierre. Thank you, Jupor. Thanks to Daniel. Thanks to Jerry, who was with us earlier.
And yeah. 1 minute, Stephen. 1 minute, Jerry. I don't want to let Jerry down. Jerry had just messaged me. He talked about John Crotty and Anthony Smith. The both of them supposed to be in Gozon, Buchanan, and he just want to also point them out because since the show started, he says they are very passionate followers of the show, and they just needed that little recognition because you know when you call in the name, Stephen, you can't call everybody.
Yeah.
So Anthony and John, thank you for following. No giving up now. Let's keep going. Thank you.
Thank you, Pierre. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to all of our callers. Thanks to everyone who participated in the poll. It was unannounced, but we appreciate the fact that you took up time to call. Thanks to our radio station, that's Bourgeois Radio FM 98.1, Premium FM 98.1 in Banga, Bon County, Radio Tupac FM 89.1 in Grand Bassa.
Man, Gallo, I would deal with Gallo. We know me here. You know, you might tell me to check my account. I would check. Guy better be serious. You my man. I want to pay you on the show.
I don't want you talking about. I'm a check.
Zero. Don't mind that thing. I won't call it yesterday. Gallo, don't try me. You leave it there.
Voice of Lofa FM 99.3 in Vonjama Radio Joy Africa 97.5 in Magibi, and of course Voice of Compa FM 106.5. Would like to thank you all. This has been the midweek edition of the program.
Not resting your name, Gallo. We're not resting your name until you do serious thing. The minute I'm gonna tell you to rest your name small.
Ah, come on, Gallo.
But when I tell you the thing you want you to rest your name for, if I would tell I want off, I want to pay him.
Peter Gila Boga, John Lobo is in Liberia already. John Lobo in Liberia. I think he was on the soccer fee.
I saw John last in Lone Star, my man.
Yeah.
Showing body. Also, a TED teacher showing all your muscles.
Yeah, Joshua on the soccer fee yesterday. He's in Monrovia. I'd like to say thanks to everybody, all those who made contribution, all those who hope to make contribution. But say she'll do it sometime this week or next week.
Most of the money is doing poor. Stevie McCall, most of the men near every day. Don't rest with your name.
Yeah, don't mind. I'll do it. So, guys, it's been a great show. We're looking forward to seeing you on the weekend Friday with another fascinating edition of the program, The Class Reloaded. On that note, we come to an end of another edition of the program, The Class Reloaded. We will be back here on Friday with the weekend edition of the program. My name is Stephen Johnson, along with Jerry Pierre, Michel Jupor, Daniel Sando, and Jerry Yimpan saying so long. God bless you all. Do have yourself a wonderful rest of the evening. Bye-bye.
It's all in the game. It's all in the game. Here, there, and everywhere. The people keep on crying. The people just keep on crying. It's not fair. And we go, we know some. You're some. All the big people. You're some. It's all in the game. It's all in the game. Here, there, and everywhere. The people keep on crying. The people just keep on crying. It's not fair. And we go, we know some. You're some. All the big people. It's all